Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host for tonight, Frédéric Guimont. Patrick Quinlan is out on medical leave for the moment. He'll be out of the Commandos for a couple of months. I mean, he might be in the chat. We might be seeing them, but he might be heavily medicated as well. We wish him a good, fast, speedy recovery. I hope the drugs are good, but not too good. You know what I mean? And if you say, yeah, keep Patrick in your prayers for his rehabilitation. So it'll be like this for a couple of months. I'm also joined by my co-host here. Say hello to Colonel Carbon. How you doing, Carbon?
Yes, sir. Hail, Mr. Guimont, Sergeant Guimont.
Yes, that's correct.
Good
You
to
do
be
outrank
back.
me, but I'm at the controls today, so I salute you, Colonel Carbon.
Hail to the chat. Hail, CG. But you said a couple of months. It's actually just a few weeks, though.
It's just a few weeks. Well, that's good.
That Patrick will be out of commission just for a few weeks.
Oh, well, that's good.
So,
that's good.
Yeah, we'll keep him in our thoughts, and should be a speedy recovery.
Well, that's good to hear. I did a little bit of research on Patrick, the past week in the hopes of filling in and everything. So you've heard that he went for a while, like living in Russia, right, Carbon? You heard about that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I looked into that a little bit. I don't know if you know, but apparently when he was out there in Russia, they did a little digging of their own, and they found out some things about Patrick. I don't know if you heard about this, but listen to this.
He is not an agent of the CIA. He is a writer of comic books.
Yeah.
So he was absolved of any suspicions.
Well, apparently he's not an agent of the CIA, which is a little
Right.
bit disappointing because I thought this was a whole honey trap operation. Turns out it's not. Turns out it's just, a bunch of people who love comic books working on their own stuff. So here we are.
Well, my intuition says that I think he's someone we can trust.
That's right. That's right. He is a good man at heart. And without further ado, let me bring on our guest for tonight, Mr. Ryan Dubé. He's new here in the ComicsGate space. I was introduced to him on Friday on Katie's show.
That's correct.
ComicsGate. Good morning, ComicsGate.
Hey, okay, well, no, it's good evening. But hey, thank you so much, guys, for allowing me to come on. Am I on? Can you hear me?
Yep, you're all good,
Okay,
man. We hear you
good.
loud.
I wasn't sure if I was still muted, but no, hey, thank you for allowing me access to being on the show with you guys and kind of promoting the book that I worked on and everything like that. So thank you so much for extending an invitation.
Happy to have you, man. I was listening to your campaign a little bit on Katie's show, and you got an interesting story, an interesting background. So we're going to get into all of that tonight. Starting maybe with a little bit. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? How you got into comics? What was your first kind of what got you in love with the medium of comics to start with?
Sure. I mean, this started back when I was young. I used to, go to conventions and things like that, and I was more into the art than I was into the stories. I got books not for reading. I got books that maybe spoke to me, from the from the shelf or from the catalog or the little long boxes, and I'd pick up issues that I thought where the art really captured me, really got my attention. So that's sort of how I got into that, and of course, watching.
Who were your first? Who was your favorite artist at the time? Do you remember?
Back in the day, I'd have to look it up, because I was really into, and I've always been in more DC. So there's an artist. His name is I think Jose Luis Gomez. It's 4 names, but he did a lot of the.
It sounds like 3 artists.
And he did a lot of like lunch boxes and all that. So it's kind of like framed, sort of my vision of like, who the DC characters, when I was growing up, it was like Super Friends on the television network and things like that. So it just sort of, they were on Scooby-Doo and all that. So I just sort of grew up liking or just being really drawn to DC characters. I liked Marvel, but DC really kind of like, I gravitated more to them just because they were more, iconic and less, I want to say less tangible. They were just more, more than MCI, that's, Transformers, but just it wasn't it wasn't like Spider-Man, who was just a local guy, or it wasn't the Punisher, who was just a guy running around with a skull on his chest, doing mercenary things. These were like cosmic type characters, and they was bigger than life.
Right.
The only one that wasn't was Batman, because it's like, okay, well, he's just a dude, but his costume looked so much, or was in line with that whole motif, that it was like, okay, yeah, he belongs with them.
I'm liking these answers, Ryan.
Thank
And
you.
by the way, it's nice to meet you. My name's Carbon.
Hey, what's going on, Carbon?
Nice
Nice to meet
on
you,
here.
man. But that's kind of the how I grew up. And then, so I was just always around these characters, and heavily influenced by Christopher Reeve. And then when the Batman '89 movie came out, I was like, what's this? This is amazing. I just kind of fell into that so much that I met the casting director for Batman 3. She came through town, and they still had Michael Keaton, so they were looking for a Robin.
Oh, well, that was before they pivoted to the movie.
Because it was actually supposed to be what is that guy's name? Wolfgang Peterson was going to direct the third Batman movie, but then when Keaton opted out, that opened the door for Val Kilmer and Chris O'Donnell, so they didn't need to go look for a Robin anywhere. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. But that was an interesting experience, growing up. So that was a nice little thing. I still have the little slip. Her name was and her daughter actually has casted most of the Marvel movies. That is Sarah Halley Finn, but I met her mom, Mally Finn. So that's nice little but it's been, and I used to work at Six Flags Astro World, so they were heavily DC, because they had lots of property, because it was owned by Warner Brothers and all that. So gotta get somebody infiltrating the stream.
Another way.
But yeah, so I've mainly had just a lot of just exposure to like the DC characters and DC universe, and there was a chance where I was going to get to work with these creators on a game. It was called DC Universe Online, and that was released in 2011. And I met online. I was making arrangements to travel over to Austin and meet with Jens Anderson, who was one of the co-creators of that, and that kind of fell through, and there was some other social things that happened or whatever, but that would have been really cool. But again, getting into DC, I like Marvel. I love the Spider-Man games and the Incredible Hulk game, where you can just travel the New York or whatever and just wreak havoc and all that. But so that's sort of my background as far as how comics have sort of shaped me, and that it's just sort of always been there. It's sort of been ingrained, so much that I spent a lot of time on this thing back here, which is if you watch the Batman vs Superman movie, there is a part where they're in Lex's father's home, and there's an Angels versus Demons poster or canvas in the back. And so I was like, that's cool. Why not make them Batman versus Superman family, and just kind of lean into that. So I spent that was my first digital piece, because I'm a traditional artist since I'm a kid. And I knew that if I'm going to get into this realm here, I want to learn digital, as far as digital drawing on a pad, because I'm used to mouse.
Hold on to that thought real quick, Ryan. I just want to say a quick hello to the chat, and then we're going to come back to it and do a deep dive into your art, how you got into it, and what kind of art do you do. So let me start with Adam Weber here, raising the flag as the first person in the chat. Nice to see you, Adam. We got Rosario here, Scribe Comics. How do you do, sir? We got Abu Khan. How you doing, sir? Hail. We got Scribe, of course, said hello. We got Ollie by golly. It's my first CG Commandos. Well, welcome. Nice to see you. I'm a substitute general for tonight, but welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy it. It's my first CG Commandos. Be gentle. We will do no such thing, sir. We will
later on. It'll get more rough. Right now, we're going to take it slow.
We're easing into it, but there's a wall of fire you got to get through. No, I'm just kidding. Belmont Press is here. Hello, how you doing, sir? Welcome to the show. And Scribe says hello. Nice, thank you, Scribe. And yeah, that's it for the intro. I got a literal cat fight here behind me, but let's get back to the topic. All right, Ryan, and I got to ask you real quick because you have an accent on your last name, Ryan Dubé. Is that a French name? I say that as a Canadian myself.
It is origin in French, yes. A lot of growing up, I was known as Dubé, and that was just something that people say, just because it's fun for them to say. So they're just but yeah, it's pronounced Dubé, but I have family in New Zealand, so the only people that ever really used to say Dubé were them, and I guess just because it sounded I don't know, more authentic or fancy. But yeah, it is definitely French in origin. The name, my grandfather's from Maine, and so they just sort of traveled down here to Texas, and that's they just kind of set up camp here. So that's why that's cool. That's where I am.
Yeah, there's a lot of French ancestry in the United States as well.
You grew up in Texas?
I did, yeah, born and raised.
Nice.
So yeah, so in one of the three major cities in Texas, but probably the nicest, which is Houston. So
but I guess everybody probably disagrees about that, right? Because
everybody pretty much knows that people in Dallas are rude, and people in Austin are weird. So
that I agree with. Yeah.
And San Antonio is just a mix. Just they're good people. They're just not as big as Houston. So but you can tell by the traffic when you're in traffic in Dallas. They're just the temperament, the way that they drive, the way they handle things is just a little bit different. So we're a little bit more laid back down in Houston.
You got the beach over there by Houston.
Certainly. Yeah. So we definitely, it's not a nice beach, but it's definitely a beach.
I bet it's better than what we have over here. Over here, the ocean is freezing and the beaches are very scant. So
okay.
Yeah, Canada,
no, we just have a lot of muddy water. So I'm in that part of the Gulf, so it's like okay, it's not as beautiful as like if you go down to Corpus or if you continue to the border, or if you travel the other way and go to Florida. It seems to be nicer that way. It's just we're sort of a kind of a brown beach, brown water sort of coastal. It's not the nicest place to. There are days where it looks nice. There are days we get days, and the surfing is not that good either. So, anybody that wants to surf, you probably do better, on either the east or the west coast, because there's the waves. Unless there's a hurricane. If there's a hurricane, the surf is pretty good. So, just go at your own risk.
Yeah, sounds dangerous. Let's dive into your art as well, because first of all, I have your Indiegogo. Sorry, excuse me. Let me start that over. I have your Indiegogo pulled up right here. Let me drop it in the chat as well. It is in the description. People are going to be checking that out. I've heard you talk on Katie's show that you have kind of a graphic design kind of background.
I do.
You just kind of recently decided to venture into comics. Is that correct?
That is correct. I've done a lot of. I started working with Photoshop and Illustrator back in 2001, and like I said, that was mainly just mouse pad, clicking, dragging, using the keyboard, whatever. I didn't get into drawing on the with a stylus, just because at that time it was more of there was just a pad on your desk. And it was there was you would have to, it's kind of like a mouse, you'd have to draw down here, but then you're looking at your monitor, and I didn't quite like that. And I was like, never mind. What I'll do is I'll draw, and then I'll scan it, and then I'll continue doing what I need to do in Photoshop or Illustrator, depending on what I was doing. But
yeah, I still work with the stylus, but only for colors. Like I still hand draw the stuff, but then I'll color with the stylus, and I kind of got used to like looking at the screen and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to get into it until they finally started making it to where you could actually draw on the screen. And then the problem that I had, I bought I think it was called a Helix But it was the parallax is what really got me, because you'd put your pen down, but then there's the glass, and then there's the image underneath the glass. So I couldn't really tell where my strokes were landing. And so I was like, you know what? And also the feel of the texture of the glass was, it just didn't feel right. It just from paper to this, it was just sort of an odd transition, because, I just had so many years of using, colors and pastels and markers and pencils and it's so funny. It's like, I have this horrible habit that when I'm drawing, I'll still use my pinky to erase. There's nothing there. But I still do it. I'm like, I'll even blow on the screen.
You had to get rid of those eraser parts, right? All the little dust from the erasers.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So what's your favorite tool to use now that you're experienced with the digital, that you've tried different products, right?
So yes, so I have a friend that is into manga, and he made a book, and he's here in Houston as well, and they travel around and they sell their books, but they got me hip to this software called Clip Studio Paint, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll try that out, and they were like, yeah, no, it really helps you out. It helps you just with making the panels and slicing, and keeping the pages in order, and it was just really user friendly. And if you had background in Adobe Photoshop or just Adobe Suite, then it's an easy transition. You just have to learn where the different tools are, because they're just sort of slightly in different places. And once you get the hang of that, then and there are some differences, but I do like drawing in that, because they have it to where it's like, with Photoshop or Illustrator, you have a main color and then a color underneath, and you can kind of use X and you can kind of scroll through. But with Clip Studio, it has three. It has your primary color, your secondary color, and then your like absence of color, like it's checkerboard, so it's like transparent. So and that's sort of how you have to sort of kind of look at that as far as like masking and things like that, because with Photoshop it's black and white, normal masking, but with Clip Studio, you use the transparency to erase but you don't erase it, you just hide it under the transparency, which is a weird concept, but you get it. It's like, okay, cool. If I ever need to go back and see the actual line art, I can go back and just sort of undo the color it in with white or whatnot, and that's what reveals what you drew earlier before you masked it. So what I've been doing with this book is that I drew it all out in Clip Studio. And
let me just ask you briefly before you continue. What I really meant though was in terms of the equipment, like the stylus.
I use a Wacom or Wacom.
Oh, Wacom. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I have two of them. I have this one here, which is the Cintiq 24, and then I've got the one that is a media center, so you don't have to hook it up to a computer. It's a computer. It's basically a laptop that you can draw on. And I take that when I go out of town and stay somewhere, and I need I continue working. And what you can do with Clip Studio within the software is that you can upload your work onto the cloud, and then onto Clip Studio's cloud, and then you can download it onto your other device, and you can continue working on it. You can just kind of share it and make sure, as long as you upload it to the cloud, then both machines have the data or have the latest save, and you can continue working without overwriting or anything. And that has saved my butt in a couple times where I messed up another transition from going from or from working on something with so many layers. I've used so many layers on this thing, is that I'll find myself drawing on the wrong layer, and I'm like, oh crap, I just messed up this layer. So luckily
I gotta lock all my layers, dude. When I work, I'm like, okay, lock everything down.
Man, I am the worst. And I heard that there was something like AI assistant or something that will help you make either layer colors or layer titles or whatever to kind of help you along, because all it is layer 10, layer 11, layer 13, layer 4, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, which layer was what am I working on, what am I doing? Because I start off with this is so much easier. But and another caveat, I'm sorry I'm going to like so many different tangents,
No,
but
I'm a geek for that stuff, so don't worry about it.
I'm a traditional artist, so I draw with pencil first, and then I just kind of draw over it, with more pencil, and I erase my lines and
When
everything
you say
like
with
that.
pencil, you draw on pencil on the computer, or you
No,
write it on physical paper?
I draw with no on here. I just use the G pen, and because it gives me nice smooth lines. I'm very my style is very clean. I like fine edges. I like clean edges. I like yeah, Affinity's great. Crashing sucks. Save early, save often. But and I have had that happen as well. And but anyway, so yeah, no, I go in with like the G pen, and I draw a layer, then I lower the opacity to like 20%. I'll make it either blue or red, depending on what is easier for me to see, or if there's other layers that I need to differentiate while I'm drawing. And then I will I'll go back over with another layer, and I'll do that, and then maybe I'll come back to it and say, that one's it's not as clean or is not as nice as I want. I'll blue line that one, and then I'll redraw on top of that. And then one of my friends, my manga friend, was like, you also want to separate your line art from your strong blacks or your cross hatching. You don't want to draw on top of your line, or you don't want to put the shading or the shadows on top of your line art, just in case you have a different idea, or if the lighting isn't right, or it's not coming from the right angle, then you want to keep that separate. Well, easier said than done. When I'm in it, I'm like, oh, did I draw? Okay, I did. I messed up my line art. I put all the shading on the wrong layer, or the line art layer, and that's why
makes sense to keep the inking on a separate layer.
Yeah.
One thing I learned recently, I'm on a different software, but it's got the similar tools as Clip Studio, is you can actually like lock certain tools to certain layers as well. Like I put my flats on a layer, so my color picker is always locked to the flats. So even if I'm painting on a specific layer, when I color pick to select a magic wand to select an area, it always goes back to the flat, so I can always select this area here.
And
what software are you using, Frederick?
So I'm a free software geek. Like, I've been on Linux since about 2004. So I use Krita. Krita is like the painting tool in free software. It's got a lot of what Clip Studio has.
How's that spelled? Krita? I've never seen that.
Yeah,
Krita.
That's right. Krita.
I saw it for like animation.
A lot of animators use it on there.
I wanted to use it. Yeah.
It's got some comic book features, plugins as well. So it's really good for that stuff. It's got same tools as Clip Studio. So what I do is I figure out, okay, because most of the pros are on Clip Studio like you. So I go see the tutorials on Clip Studio, then I do the research. Okay, where are those tools in Krita? And then I adapt the same things myself. So
right. It's whatever medium you need to get the job done. I bought it. So with the thing I like about Clip Studio versus Adobe is that Adobe is a monthly fee. And with Krita, I'm sorry, with
Clip Studio,
it's a one-time buy. As they add more features, they're like, hey, you want these new features, you can pay for them, or you can keep the one you have. It's fine. So I upgraded once, and then okay, cool. I downloaded it directly from their site. It's on my other computer. I used it once and kind of never went back to it because I was like, okay, I'm gonna go where I'm comfortable. And I'd already paid for Clip, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna continue learning.
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with, I think is the best. It's all about the artist much more than the tool. Like I've found that throughout the years. Like some artists will. Like it really is about mastering what you have, what you feel comfortable in, what you do enjoy working with, than forcing yourself to use what everybody else is using.
Sure.
Well, it's also like these softwares, and it's interesting because they're so proprietary in their specific tools that once you learn on a certain software, it's like if that becomes second nature to you, it's very hard to move over to another one.
Yeah.
And it's like that with also music software,
Mhm.
like sound engineering software. If you learn on Pro Tools, for example, or like another software like GarageBand or whatever,
Mhm.
it's very hard to move from one to another. And like these companies, like they intentionally make it so that like you have to get used to their language and
Yes.
their techniques, and it's
Yeah.
a little bit unfair, but
Yeah, there's
it is
a
what-
second cost to your software. It's the time that you invest in it. So
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of a bit of my reasoning for going for the free software stuff. But
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I use honestly from 2001 to maybe somewhere in the teens. I always used a copy of Adobe Photoshop that I got it from somewhere else. So
yeah.
it wasn't until they started their monthly services, that's when they really like, oh, okay, this is what people are doing. I think it was like CS2 or something like CS1 or CS2 or something like that, where they were like, okay, we're changing over and we're not making it a flat fee for the software, we're making it a monthly service, and you have to have an active account in order to use it or whatever. And I mean, we still multiple people use it, and you can just, hey, as long as you're signed off on your computer, I can sign in on mine and whatnot and still use it. And it's just like there are workarounds. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Would you be interested in us having a look at your campaign now, Ryan?
Oh
'cause
yeah,
I know
sure.
people are got to be eager to see. Okay, what does this guy's comic look like? Let's get some. Let's peep the views, peep the artwork, and because you do have your costume in the background there.
I
You
got
see the
I got an
logo.
all over print shirt
Yeah.
that I wore, and I was like, you know what? I love the logo that I made because again, I had that DC background. I was like, you know what? I want something iconic. I want something that's easy to remember. Something that like is easily identifiable when you see it. It's like, oh, okay, I know what that is.
Mhm.
And that's that's what you get with the Batman oval logo, and that's what you get with like the Superman logo and the Flash and even Green Lantern. Just something just immediate. That's one thing that I think that Marvel was lacking, in that they don't have a lot of characters that have that. They have some, but not a lot that have that sort of iconic thing. Like the Hulk's is like a fist. It's like, okay, that's pretty generic.
I don't even recall the Hulk having a logo. It's like I remember
That's just
him
how
in
they sell it.
shorts.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The shorts, and then those little foam gloves that you can buy that you can beat your kids up with. But yeah, they have that, and then like Daredevil has just like a DD, but it's just not as impactful and iconic, I think, as a lot of DCs.
Interesting. I've always been more of a Marvel guy, but I'm always like I've been open to DC forever, so I'm always fascinated when I hear the.
Well, I'm the DC guy here, and
Mhm.
I agree with what you said earlier, Ryan, 100%. Where I call them deities. The DC characters, I view them as being kind of something above what we're used to experiencing.
Yes.
Like you said, with the exception of Batman, but Batman's kind of like the ultimate, like the goal for a man, right? So like he's kind of like the thing we can't even reach.
Well,
right?
It used to be unattainable because he was a millionaire. And back in the 1930s, that wasn't a thing. It was like, oh, millionaire? Oh, what's that?
He has thousands of dollars in the 1930s.
And now it's a billionaire. And it's like, well, I mean, I don't know, with all the TikTokers and the YouTubers.
Wait, he's not even a
that,
trillionaire? What is this?
Yeah, he's got to have like like a black, American Express card, just like, oh, your money's no good here, sir. You own the planet, whatever. So, but that used to be, and I think they even said that in one of the recent Batman things, like, what's your superpowers? Like, I'm rich. So
yeah, no, but even beyond that, it's like he's the ultimate in everything that we can like aspire to, like physical, ability, mental ability, discipline.
Yeah, because he was a detective at some point. He comes from Detective Comics, so he was like using.
I never understood why they called it Detective Comics.
Yeah,
it's DC Comics. It's like, why is it redundant? I'm like, I guess you have to be a sleuth in order to
That was a manager somewhere who came up with that idea, I'm sure. Do you want to pull up the campaign, Ryan, or should I on my side?
I can definitely pull it up. Hold on one second.
Right.
I think I can only share one thing. Hold on. Let me go out of that. Sorry about that.
Let me share. No, take your time, man. There's no rush.
Let me open up.
I'm going to drop your link again in the chat while you do that, so people can at home can check that out. And yeah, your campaign is you did a set run, and then you were in the famous Indiegogo kind of like uh, hiatus for a week or something, because Indiegogo kind of
Yes.
forces you to.
It's setting up a campaign on Indiegogo. I'm glad I did Kickstarter first, and let me open it in a different window. I did that first, and doing that was really advantageous for me. So if you are somebody who has not promoted or done a crowdfunding campaign yet, or a campaign of any sort, I would definitely. Oh, that's not the right website. I would definitely say go Kickstarter first, just to sort of get the basics out of the way, because the interface on Indiegogo was not very user friendly, and very, very confusing at times. Like there's two options. There's like a rewards and then also a products, and they're basically the same exact information. You just have to you just have to copy and paste basically all of the information again, because it saves it in different spots on their I guess your profile or the campaign.
Right, because they were
profile
bought They were bought recently.
They
changed
were.
ownership, and then they shuffled some stuff around there. It's kind of strange what they went through.
So this is the campaign, and I have a couple of trailers that we made on there.
Got a vertical screen here.
Yeah, I do. I have my my Wacom, and then my widescreen, and then the vertical. So I have 3 that I'm checking out. But just my character design here. I always grew up knowing that you want your character to stand out, so that if you were to look at the character in a silhouette, you can still recognize who it is. So if you were to look at like Sylvester and Tweety, or Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Mickey Mouse, Batman, Superman, even the Flash, if you were to look at them in silhouette, you can still tell who they are. And that's what makes something more iconic and more easily distinguishable and recognizable to the reader, to the viewer, because you only have a couple seconds to get somebody's attention and to hold somebody's attention. So you want to have that impression burned in their brain, like, okay, well, this is what this character looks like. And I am familiar with the ISOM character, but if you were to look at the character in silhouette, he's just a guy that would be standing in whatever pose. There's nothing on him that's distinguishable, and that's the reason why I put the quote unquote ears or horns on his head, just so that hey, look, that's something a little bit different. It's not quite Batman, it's not quite the Flash, but it's something that it's not quite Daredevil, and it's not quite Wolverine, but it's something. If you were to see those 4 characters that I just named in silhouette, you'd instantly know who they were. With a lot of other characters, you really don't have that. That sort of. With Spider-Man, it's more of how his pose versus his costume. But his costume is very similar to this, and that's very simplistic. And that's another reason why I went with something like this, is because it was very simplistic. Something, again, easy to say, okay, well, what was he wearing?
Yeah, because you're going to be drawing him hundreds and hundreds of times, so you want to be.
And that's another thing that I got from pros. Like I scoured YouTube for so many, like older, veteran, comic artists that are no longer doing comics anymore. But that was sort of what they did back in the day, back in what, like the golden and silver age, is that they said, when you create a character, don't go overly crazy unless like that's sort of your thing, and you don't mind drawing these things and keeping continuity, throughout the whole, your whole process. So that's why I went with something sleek and something, simplistic. So
the name of the book is The Nephilim. Is that what this is?
That is the yes, I'm sorry. That is the name of the book.
Okay. Do you have a trailer on the page?
I do.
Let's check it out. Let's go through. Yeah, let's start with the trailer.
I hope it's not going to be. No, you have to share from a tab that's in the same browser that you're currently using to
Okay,
stream.
let me go.
And I hope it's not going to be limited to the vertical screen, though, if you full screen it.
Oh, let me move this here. Will that make it larger? No. All right, let me reshare the screen then. Hold on.
Let's try that.
Yeah. There you go.
I think it's worth it for a trailer. We want to get the best visuals.
Let's
Take the time to
go here.
get a real close look at it.
Okay, we're gonna go there.
And yeah, if you could share with from the same tab as the browser you're streaming with, I think that's what makes the audio work by default.
Okay.
StreamYard says restrictions on audio if you're sharing like a different application.
Hold on, let me go there. And then you also have to, in StreamYard, make sure that you click share audio.
If you have the option, yeah, I find I
Let's
don't,
see.
but it works.
I used to use StreamYard a while ago. I used to stream a lot, and I quit for like a year because I was drawing this, and it really wasn't the smartest move, but it definitely made it a lot easier for me to focus on my project.
You didn't think about streaming some of your work sessions?
I did not, because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the brightest idea because NVIDIA StreamYard. Where is that? No. Hold on. Hold on one second. Oh. Okay. No, I have it. Okay, I have that on the wrong tab. Sorry, I have multiple tabs open. Let me close that out and use this one. Okay. YouTube. And then my channel. Studio. No, I don't need to go studio. What am I doing? Channel. Okay, here we video.
All else fails, I'll
There it is.
share it on my end, Ryan.
All right. And then there. And then let me go back to you guys. Alt tab. Where are you guys at? Is that it?
I'm here. I'm right here.
Okay.
If that helps, which I'm sure it doesn't.
Are you using the drawing tablet to navigate?
No, that's down here. I'm looking at I'm letting that cool off because that thing does get hot.
Oh man,
That thing
reminds me. I got to change the ice pack underneath my computer in about 30 minutes.
So I got this this thing. It's just it goes under laptops and it's got 3 fans.
Yeah,
and I just have that thing constantly running.
Does that keep the computer pretty cool?
It does.
I've been thinking about getting that. I need to like open my MacBook up and get the dust out. I think it's the dust is keeping the thing from airing out properly. It's just been getting worse over the years.
Hold on. Let me.
Oh, I see it. Oh,
yeah. I forgot to just check and make sure that it is share audio. Okay, it is on.
Cool.
Okay, because it used to be that it was not.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, cool. So some of the stuff is widescreen, some of the stuff is narrow. It just depends on everything that I did in here is from it's something from the book. So
makes sense.
Let me see. We started over. Okay, here we go, and I'll play it. Let me know if that's down.
Awesome.
You've spent a lifetime running from who you are. I tried to shield you from it, and I was wrong. But the time has come to show the world what you can do. Son, embrace your destiny.
Yeah.
Okay, she's crazy. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that was the trailer for the comic. I wanted to make sure that because I'm introducing a new power set um, that is very familiar but a little bit different from others. I just wanted to make sure that with the trailer I could kind of demonstrate that, because I was as I was talking about the project with from my YouTube channel. A lot of people were like, well, what exactly is this thing, and how does this work? And I don't really quite understand it. So I was like, well, I need to have some way to have this animated and really kind of show that, okay, this is sort of what this is and why it is different, aesthetically different from other things that you've probably seen. There's nothing new under the sun. Everybody's created something that is somehow familiar with somebody else's, because everybody gets influenced by others and by other
Oh
things.
yeah, 100%, man.
So all I'm doing is I'm taking things from my life that I have, sort of grabbed and said, you know what, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this, and I'm going to change it, morph it into something that makes sense into this universe, and go. So,
what's the story of the book? What's the 20-second pitch for the book?
Right. 20-second pitch is I have a new character, a new hero that is going out and patrolling his borough, his area of town, because he lives with his mother, and his father, is taken away. His older brother is out in military, so he can't leave his mom in that sort of situation or area. They're trying to make the best with what they have, and these are sort of things that the abilities that he uses are from his father. And he is just saying, you know what, I've been given this. My father was, doing research with me and trying to figure this thing out. And now that he's no longer there, I'm going to do the best that I can with what I have to protect my mom.
Interesting.
And then he's going to open up the door to a world of things that he's not quite familiar with, because he's just your average, 20 some odd year old, kid running around doing things for, just protecting the neighborhood. But he's going to come across things that are sort of outside of his wheelhouse and outside of his comfortability. And in the next book after this, he's gonna have to make a decision on whether or not he kind of closes up shop or moves forward and does something about it. So
cool, man. I have to ask, obviously Nephilim. Well, it's funny. I mean, I don't think you're familiar with our show, the Commandos. We talk about a whole range of topics, whether it's recent current events, news, politics, comics, media, entertainment, and also ComicsGate news, because ComicsGate is its own animal, But anyway, we do every now and then talk about religion as well, and kind of history and what's it called, epistemology with certain terms. Nephilim is a very loaded word, as you know.
Very.
So what's the reason why the book's called Nephilim?
Okay, so if for those that know or don't know, Nephilim is a plural. Anything ending usually in ending in im or im is a plural. So if you're talking about the Sadduceem, Kohanim, the Phariseem, the cherubim, the seraphim, and also Nephilim, you're talking about a specific type of, I guess, a group as a plural. And the Nephilim are usually, or how they're depicted is men of renown. So if you were to look at, characters like Heracles, most know him as Hercules, but the actual character that you're learning about, even from the Disney film, his actual name is Heracles, and he's sort of one of those men of renown, where he's a being that is human but more than, and it's because of what's in his DNA. Just like let's see, Noah's great grandson, I think his Nebuchadnezzar or Nimrod also could be considered as a Nephilim. So they are characters. Same thing like Goliath would be another example of a Nephilim. Just a character that has power that is bestowed, that is beyond, or that is outside of them. So I was like, you know what? Let me kind of grab onto that and say, okay, so this is something that's wrapped in DNA, and then let me give them a power. So I was like, well, angels use light, and demons would use lava or fire, flames, whatever. I was like, well, let me come up with something that's sort of a hybrid. So I was like, well, dark light energy, that could be a thing. And so it's erratic, like you saw in the trailer. It's just it's black energy wrapped in like a white and cyan glow, and it's something that you can, with angels, they could use the light to create a sword, or demons could use lava to create, or flames to create their sword, shield, whatever. And I was like, well, that's the same thing with that we can use here, is that Nephilim could be, he could create a shield, a sword, a mace, a nunchucks, whatever, out of the energy, because it's emanating from him. But it also drains him because it comes from within him. So he's also a hybrid sort of person, where he's not spirit, he's spirit and flesh, and the flesh is what gets tired, not the spirit. So, I do want to show that he does get fatigued from using these powers, and I want to show that he can't fully rely on it, to where it's like it's not sort of like a video game where it's just always, you just have an unlimited bank of energy, or you can use the same, like in
he'll get depleted after a while, after using his powers.
Just like Flash, when he's running, he has to eat.
Yeah.
Or he'll just lose, he'll just become weak and tired and everything like that. And I just want to show, like, this power also does that. And
So-
just to give him sort of like an end of the line, or a don't go beyond this point, or
So in a sense, he's got powers that are linked back through biblical history, and at the same time, you're taking that notion and adapting it to comic book space as well, and giving it like a dark energy force kind of power that you're kind of being creative with as well. And that force of dark power is kind of what he's using as energy. And how does that, like, how does he refill his dark power when it gets depleted? Like, what's the source to get more, or what
it would be
him?
it would be rest for him. But he's going to meet a character that's not in this book, but he's going to meet a character that's going to help him sort of hone in on that, and also help use outside technology to assist with that, because he does see it as, it is a weakness. It is sort of kryptonite. You can't go beyond this, or you're just going to exert yourself to the point where either you're gonna die, you're gonna be vulnerable, you're gonna be easily taken down. So I did want to have him to where he's not sort of golden age Superman, indestructible. I wanted him to have some way of becoming weakened. And oh.
Sounds like you have a knowledge, obviously, based on everything you're just saying. You have a knowledge of the Old Testament, with the names of the figures throughout the Old Testament, and the major stories, and the Nephilim themselves. And we're actually familiar with that as well. On the Commandos, we talk often about the Bible and kind of spiritual history, theological history. And because to us, it's a big factor. But no, I mean, that's a great thing, man, because that makes the story way more interesting.
Well, the best stories come from the Bible.
Absolutely.
A lot of the story, like even Superman, it comes from,
Kal-El.
Yes. But also, just same as Moses, being, sent from Krypton, and lands and is supposed to help the people of the planet go through their turmoil or whatever. It's just it's that same sort of, you've got a messenger, you're sending the messenger to do this thing, and they're definitely going to do that. There's just a lot of different, I mean, people borrow from that book, very much so. And I was like, I'm no different from anyone else. I'll do the same. I'll borrow from it too. But I wanted to make sure that it wasn't someone like Samson, in that, it was a power that, is bestowed onto him. It's a power that he actually gets through biologically. And it's something that he didn't ask for. So it's not, he doesn't get his power from experiment going wrong, or he gets struck by lightning or anything like that. It's something that that was through his blood is inherited. And it's like, okay, well, it's not, even though it's dark light energy and it comes from Nephilim, it doesn't mean that he has to serve an entity or do something. It's more about what he does with it in his own paradigm and his own.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is there are drawbacks from using the dark energy? Like, is that going to weigh on his soul? Is it going to affect him psychologically to be using this power by its nature and all that?
As we go on, what is going to mess with him psychologically is that, like I said earlier, is that he's opening a world that he's not used to and he's not comfortable with, and certain things are going to take notice of him that wouldn't have if he had not crossed paths. If he just stayed your neighborhood, a friendly neighborhood, Nephilim, and just only took care of low level crime, then he'd be fine, and no one would be the wiser. He'd just go into his daily life, make sure his neighborhood is safe for his mom and himself and his friends and whoever else lives there, and but because he kind of gets in the way and people sort of take notice of that, and of course in our day and age you have video camera surveillance and things like that, so you've got this thing that you're watching, you're like, well, what exactly is this, and is this a threat, and how could this affect business, their business, and how could this affect their overall means of doing whatever it is that they're doing in the shadows. So he's more seen as like a nuisance and somebody that needs to be neutralized.
Interesting.
Sounds very cool, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's cool to hear the I'll call it spiritual aspect that connects to the powers there, which most likely will probably drive the narrative arc as you move forward through the story, right?
Yes.
But can we pull up the campaign once again to take a look?
Yeah.
At maybe some of the pages and
I've been looking through it, and you've got like 5 different covers as well to choose from.
One of my friends was like, yeah, you want to do multiple covers. So
nothing wrong with that. Collectors love their multiple covers, man.
I started out with one and was like, okay, that's good enough. And then when he said, you need to make more and you need to find other people to make them for you. Oh, that's the screen. Okay, present. I was like, okay, well, let me reach out to some people that I know, and share screen, and yeah, that's the one. Okay, there you go. And so yeah, let me scroll down. So this cover here is I drew it and colored it myself. This is a shot from a scene that is actually in the book. Can I? No, okay, well, whatever. Anyway, I was gonna try to zoom in, but anyway, so if you look at the arc that's coming, and he's holding on to this sort of black energy stream, and on the end of it is like a
grappling hook.
Grappling
right?
hook. I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. I knew it started with a G. So as a grappling hook that's holding on to the top of the van, and this is one of the thugs trying to get away from this guy, and he's sort of riding the top. If you ever watched Teen Wolf, the original movie.
Oh yeah, long time ago.
Yeah, he had Styles and Teen Wolf, riding the top of their van, and I was like, let's just kind of do that. Let's have like a little homage to that, and so he's just holding on for dear life as this guy's driving through the city, and my favorite part of this whole cover is actually the street light. That came out really good. I was like, better than I thought it would, and I was like, you know what, that's the piece right there. That's what I like. So that's my favorite cover. But I do have other covers. Here we go. I think
these are small to look at on the vertical.
They are small.
Is it possible to share again on the wider screen?
I can. I can
because that comes out a little bit better.
Yeah,
on the
usually
list.
on the streams we do
Oh,
the
that's good.
widescreen.
That's
Oh,
pretty good.
that's my desktop. Hold on. Let me
But this is also one of the covers,
There we go.
is it not? It looks like
It is.
one of
It
the
is
covers.
actually.
Yeah.
So there's another cover.
Okay, that's good. You can zoom in.
And so I originally had this character, and I had Superman and Batman and Spider-Man sort of behind him, and it was sort of an homage to, if you recall, Robin, the Boy Wonder, jumping through sort of his introduction into comics. You have Batman holding like this this ring of paper, and he would jump through it. So I was like, well, I'm going to sort of give it that sort of vibe, but with his energy power serving as the circular thing that he's kind of coming through. But then it was expressed to me, and I do listen to people's opinions, and I do value them.
You take advice and
I
listen
take
to
advice.
criticism?
I certainly do. So I took them out because they were like, the focus should be on the character. And even though, you have the other guys in the background and they're very iconic, and that'll definitely turn an eye, and somebody will come over. They'll wonder when you open the book, why aren't they in the book? So I was like, okay, that's a good point. I'll remove them. So I removed them, and then my friend who produces manga, he colored that for me, and he did a fantastic job. His name is Simon Blaze, or Simon Calderon, and they do Blaze manga, and he did that for me, and I really, this was the very first thing that I drew for this comic, and so it's very sentimental to me, because I drew it on a cruise ship, and I had my Wacom tablet, and I just during our week of whenever it was bored, I'd just go and I'd draw it. And so there's that cover, and then the cover you saw earlier, which is this cover here, which is I drew this, and this is just, like I said, the iconic chest emblem, and I was like, there's one of Superman where he's like, ripping his shirt open and revealing the S underneath. There's one of Batman. There's one of Spider-Man. Kind of with the same, like, zoomed in, and I was like, you know what, let me do that same thing here, because I really like that. And I took it, so far that, I put it on this this little lanyard that I'm going to be sending out to everyone that gets anything physical. I've got this lanyard that I had developed, and then there's information on the back.
That's cool, man.
Thank you.
I like the logo. So the character himself, is he named the Nephilim? Is that his name?
So he doesn't name himself. It's not like Invincible, in that, when every time they want to reference him, they always, just go to Invincible or whatever. Eventually he's going to adopt the name Neph, but that will come later.
What's the origin or the explanation of the symbol? If you don't want to reveal it,
no. Actually, I'll show you here. Hold on one second. Those are two more. Hold on. I think I have an image.
You got a lot of good stuff.
Those are some of the. Hold on. I thought I had it here. Oh no!
Yeah, you see all this that you just flew through all that.
Sorry,
that's all the stuff that we want to see. By the way,
yeah, we're gonna have to go back to it.
I have another one.
All this is what we want to see.
I'm missing it. Hold on.
The playback folks will be like screenshotting and like
hold on one second. I don't have it here. Let me see if I can.
Sheldon says that's what I call my nephew too, Neff.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
That makes
What's
sense.
up, Neff?
Let's see documents. I actually no. You brought up a good question, and I just had made something. Is it in downloads? No. I just had made something, because this is a symbol that is found all over the world, and when I find it, I'll be able to share it. I'm perplexed that I didn't put it there. Did I put it on my desktop? I apologize.
It's all fine.
But
Ryan, how did you find out about ComicsGate?
From a friend of mine that knows Eric July.
How long
And,
ago?
that was a couple years ago, like 2
Oh,
or
so you've
3
known
years
about
ago.
it for a few years.
I've heard about it. I never
okay.
really got into exactly what it was because I wasn't focused on promoting anything, and
Yeah.
I didn't. I was like, cool. He actually turned me on to Katie, and so I've been talking to her for a couple years, and just
Okay.
DMs, just talking. Hey, I have questions here. What do you think of this and that and I am. Hold on, let me go to downloads.
Hey, Jugwug, nice to see you, man. How you doing?
Let me see. Well, so I have. Let me see.
You're gonna have
I
to
have
show
this
us some of
guy
that,
here.
some of those.
This is one
pages
of
as
the
well after
concepts
that.
for. Can you see that? Let me see.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
got the,
That is one of the concepts for the sort of entity or what would you call it? Just organized organized crime ring, and it's this is sort of the I'm losing my
'cause
words.
You have a background of doing logos, right?
I
This is
do,
kinda
so I
your
have a lot of
strength.
logos in here.
Yeah, I could tell. The
Right.
graphic design is good. The logos are cool. I was asking specifically about the
Quarter gesture.
hero symbol on his chest. But like I said, if you don't want to reveal what it means,
No,
that
I
makes
will. Once
sense,
I
'cause
find the
if
image, I'm
it's a
gonna show
mystery
it.
in the story, that's cool.
Yeah,
But it's definitely their what I wanted to show is that they are it's all over, it's global, and it's all in different cultures. And let me see if let me just well, I just saved this thing last night, so I cannot believe that I.
You based
Oh
it
wait, you
off
know
the
where I can find it?
universal symbol for
It is basically, so you would see it in Mayan, you would see it in Aztec, you would see it in Hebrew, you would see it in China, Japanese, Hindi. Everyone has their version of the symbol, and this is sort of what they were creating. This is sort of what they were creating. Or seen in different civilizations, and so there's similarities but differences to all of them, and I'm just going to that's it. Okay, there you go. I'm just going to show you this from here. Okay, you can I bring it over here? Okay,
yeah.
and there you go.
Yeah,
So
very
let me
close to
hide
it.
wait, let me hide that. Let me hide
Oh, that's
that.
fascinating.
So let me bring you guys. I don't know where I saved this thing.
so you actually were pulling something up. I thought you were maybe bullshitting.
Oh no. I have had so many years of coming up with this thing that
You thought he was buying time, Carbon? It's like, okay, if I make them wait long enough.
I can't find it. I can't find it right now.
yeah,
but,
no, I saved it like a couple days ago because I was contemplating on whether or not I wanted to bring it up on Katie's stream, and I was like, cool, I'll do that, and I saved it somewhere, but I was like, forget it, I'm just gonna open up Photoshop because I just was like, I know where that is. So it's got, you got your Hebraic, you got Egyptian, you've got Norse, you've got like I said, Mayan, Atlantean, and Greek, and Japanese, and
so what does that represent? Is that like a
so
symbol
these are all representations of people that had sort of this power in their society. So they all have stories that sort of talk about people that from their civilization used this power, and this is how they're remembered. And so in his his father is taken from him, and he's looking through his journals, and I guess much like you saw in the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, where he's got this that symbol or whatever. It was like two circles and a line or something like that, but this kid is like looking at the symbols. What, this is his inspiration for creating the logo on his chest, and so
I like it.
It's sort of in honor and remembrance of his father, because even though he's doing this for his parents, he's sort of ignorant to what all this is, because he's a young 20-year-old, doesn't really know the world yet, is just still figuring things out, and it's just like, you know what, I'm going to adapt this, I'm going to adopt this, you know, and
Have you seen the TV series that was on HBO, Westworld?
I have not.
That was, but you heard of it, right?
I've heard of Westworld.
Yeah, it was about androids in a kind of current
in the old,
modern
in
day.
the Wild West or something. Or?
Yeah, basically a park that was created that has androids that could be used by people to kind of have your own adventure. Basically, go to the park and mess with the androids. Basically,
okay.
This symbol looks similar to the Westworld logo,
Okay.
and I don't mean to say that to be like, oh, it's like, you know, a copy or whatever. I don't mean that, but it's cool because it has this iconic kind of feel. You know, it's a very. I'm actually very into logos as well because I've done graphic design also early on after college.
Okay.
And so
it's,
I love symbols.
It's amazing to get into
symmetry, and it's very relatable. You know, because it has this with the circle above with the head. It implies like a human, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like
if the circle is representation of a halo. Which also, if you know, going through is like, okay, you know what a halo is, but a halo is a sun disk. But yeah, it also shows up behind, you know, a lot of you know, paintings or whatnot, you know, statues, things like that, of, you know, just being behind a person's head, and then the below are wings, and so I wanted to show, okay, you know, this comes from you know, a product of fallen angels, so this is what it is, and that's why it's black and white. And it also lends to like Masonic things because they're black and white. You know, they have the checkerboard floors and all that kind of stuff or whatever. And I just really wanted to kind of show, like, you know, hey, there is this other world that exists, and that's, you know, the with the other logo that I created, the Court of Jesters, is that Jester is usually the fool, right? Well, the fool is the one that's always discounted and always the one that nobody realizes is actually the mastermind. So they're sort of the mastermind. I wanted to come up with something like that was, again, with their logo, something iconic or something easily remembered as well, because, you know, logos that I love, you know, like you guys showed earlier in the broadcast, was like, you know, Decepticons and Autobots and you know, Cobra from G.I. Joe and
Ron
other
did
other things that are just like, they're so simple but yet so ingrained in your brain because of the simplicity of the symbol and the use of it, you know. So that's kind of, you know, really where I wanted to go here with coming up with this logo, this symbol, is that I wanted something that could be confused or could be construed as something universal, and say, you know what, I understand it without being explained what exactly it is, because I see what exactly it is before anybody, you know, before I have the chance to open my mouth. I wanted to explain it for me. So
very cool, man. I mean, actually, this is way more thorough of an answer than I expected about the logo.
Right?
This is all I've been talking about by myself for like the past couple of years. So, I mean,
I totally get it. Actually,
it shows
privately, I've done stuff like this too in order to do research to design something.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see the rest of your covers, man.
Sure. Let me get
I'd love to see the rest of the covers, and also a little bit of the page artwork as well after that.
Oh, I do have that as well. So the next one here, this was done by Jimmy Reyes, and this was done in 2024. He was
we know Jimmy. Patrick, our usual host for the show, had a cover done by Jimmy Reyes as well.
He's a great guy. He's in San Antonio, so you know he's obviously, you know, a Texan, so you know you're good there. But he was very nice, very cordial. I really dug him. He was one of the YouTube channels that I watched.
Zoom in a bit more if you can.
Sure.
Ryan.
He was one of the YouTube channels that I watched.
The anatomy on the legs on this piece. This is really, really good work.
Because he did a lot of David Finch work. And I'm a huge fan of David Finch. I think David Finch and
master
and Jim Lee are my favorites.
Oh yeah.
As far as, you know, they've got their distinct look. And so he drew this for me and he inked it, and I colored it. Cool. this was one of the first pieces that I completed. Well, one of the first cover that I completed. The other cover that was finished by my other friend, that was the first one I drew, but this is the first one that I colored. And so this is the one I started promoting and putting it all over Instagram and X and all that kind of stuff. And during this time that I was doing this thing, X was going through its change from Twitter to X, and I had already had a bad taste in my mouth from Twitter, and so I really didn't post. And so I'm starting to post again, but I see that it's sort of like, I guess because there was a huge hiatus of me posting, that it was just like, oh, I thought this was a dead account. So it doesn't really go out to anybody, but I'm cool with that. I don't care. But yeah, so I was really
takes
happy.
A little bit of while of connecting with people and then getting to know. Like it took. I started a project. I was like 2 years into it before I started knowing enough people in the space, because people, I think they'll repost, they'll like a lot more when they know you.
Yeah,
I find in the beginning, so it helps when you know.
Certainly. Yeah. I mean, like, hard is it to have somebody, sort of, jump in and say, you know what, yeah, I'm down with this, and before they know, who you are or what you're about. Because a lot of people base things not on the art, but actually on the person these days. Like when we grew up, we were born, we didn't know Simon and Schuster. We didn't know, the creator of Batman, Bob Kane. We didn't know these people. This stuff was already in existence, so we took it at face value. And they didn't have that in the back in the day because they just printed 3 or 4 panels on the bottom of a sheet of paper. And so, when we came in, we already said, okay, well, I guess society has already accepted these characters. I will therefore accept the characters as well. But now there's a lot more vetting and there's a lot more scrutiny for somebody coming in and saying, hey, you know what? I have this character here. What do you think? And a lot of people are like, I don't want to say much. And so therefore I won't, because, nobody wants to be, there's a lot of Coke versus Pepsi, Burger King versus McDonald's, this versus that, which side's better, it's sort of grooming that you kind of get into this with like sports, this team versus that team, politics, this team versus that team, just the whole arena, even politics, this team versus this team. It creates division and lines. And not everybody is going to be 100% agreeable with everyone else on what it is that they see or whatever. So everybody's more reserved and more hesitant, and for like saying, hey, you know what? I'm not quite sure if I'm down for like, promoting or saying, thumbs up to whatever it is that anybody else has going on. We just, our society, especially with like, just the internet itself, it's a lot more, God, what I want to say, it's just, there's not a lot of there's more pushback than there is, pull in, embrace. You don't.
Well, I mean, social media has changed the landscape. Like what you're saying is 100% true, and especially talking about the artistic realm. We're talking about, we're focusing here on this channel, obviously, comics, entertainment, media, artwork, and we're in the unique position where we're selling our own product, so therefore we're facing the clients with our own personalities, and so you're 100% right, where it's like, if they don't like you, they might not like the book, as a result. So it's more challenging. You're 100% right.
And that's what I'm saying with like Simon and Schuster, like we didn't know them. Maybe they could have been completely horrible people. Bob Kane actually was a dick. He took the Batman idea from, his Batman was like red and yellow and something else, and he took the idea from someone else that he was working with and just sort of rode that and said, hey, you know what, I'm going to copyright it. So
well, that's where also you gotta be crafty though, because you could choose to be a little more mysterious about your nature, right? Obviously, not reveal your politics, not reveal too much about your personality and stuff, and just let the artwork sell itself as much as possible.
Certainly. And that's definitely my approach.
Probably the best bet. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm used to like designing, like race medals and things like that. And so, like jumping into the comic sphere, like here's
Show us the
medal
race
that
medals
we
again,
have
real quick, Ryan,
right here.
while you're zoomed in.
Yeah. So that's just a 5K, 10K. And this is sort of, what I've been designing for the past, years is shirts that go along with the medals, and then bibs for anybody who is like runners or stuff like that, so, and then the little lanyard that goes along with it. But yeah, so that's sort of my background, and creating marketing and things like that, and, so doing that, I was like, wow, you know what? That can translate so quickly to like, this sphere. But the thing is that I'm not a marketer. I'm a designer, and that's my bread and butter. That's what, helps pay the bills. And I was like, well, this will be an easy transition. But I got into it and I was like, man, how do I market? Who's my audience? How do I get to, to people?
Well, speaking of which, let's sell your book. So just
certainly,
how many pages is the book and how much does it cost?
So it's a floppy. So it is 20 pages, front to back, and everything is drawn by me. There are no advertisements or anything like that. I don't have any splash pages in this one because I wanted to pack it with story and set things up for the next books. And
there better be some splash pages in the next books, Ryan. I'm telling you,
there will be
right
splash pages later because hopefully people will like what I've done.
I love that
so
stuff.
I will definitely like to do that, but I didn't want to. Like, why have a splash page with somebody we don't know? Like, I don't care about this guy. Like, I want to sort of build the intrigue first. And so I've put a lot of Easter eggs. Oh man, I put a crap ton of Easter eggs. I'm going to hold a contest after this thing is released. For every Easter egg that I have put in the book. And there are Easter eggs from movies, from television, from just me growing up from a kid to now. And I'll get into those when I start showing you the interiors. But let me go to the next little. Here we go. This is the if anybody knows Rob Marzullo or has watched any of his tutorials on drawing, if you're into that kind of stuff, you'll recognize his art.
Can you zoom in a little bit as well on this one?
And so this is sort of
better.
the same sort of thing, is that, I wanted something that was actually in the comic, and I wanted an action scene. And I really wanted to make him pop. So he drew this for me and inked it. And I colored this one as well.
Yeah, the color makes him pop because you got the sharp blue, and then the rest is kind of like a tan color. So
yeah. Thank you. I have a couple more things to do on this one. This is the one that I was speaking with Dan Lawless, sort of, trying to make sure that, I got the color palette right, just to really, make him stand out. And he was really gracious and really, really nice about, give me, pointers and things like that. And there's a couple things I still need to do to this cover here, just from his suggestions. But for the most part, that's, I want to say 95% done. And the book is finished as far as my I finished the last page yesterday, coloring it, and
nice.
I did not want to be the colorist on the book, but that's kind of how that happened. But because I am a good colorist, but I'm not a comic book colorist, so I'm hoping that it translates well, and you'll see my work a little bit later on.
You must have learned a thing or two by coloring 20 pages, right?
I have learned a lot. One thing that I haven't learned is speed. So, but I do like it. I enjoy it. I would really prefer to, find, artists that can color, and if I can get some, I guess, fluid cash, I can definitely send it their way and help me out, because I'd get done a lot quicker if I didn't have to do that. But I love the drawing of it. That's I can definitely share that with someone else, as far as like something like this, making cover art or maybe posters or things like that. But I have the way I've grown up is that I I want to share it like you would a movie, and I draw this as a storyboard, and so that's sort of one of the reasons why I didn't have a splash page. Is just that I just wanted to just kind of give you the story and the story beats and everything, and when I'm drawing, and when I'm coloring, I don't go in chronological order. I am on different pages. I am all over the place.
A lot of artists do that. Yeah, they do.
Really?
Yeah.
I draw. Sometimes on some pages I'll draw the first panel and the last panel, and then I'll draw everything in between. So that on this last page that I just finished yesterday, that was the same. I drew the first panel and the last panel, and then I thought about the filler, and I drew the filler.
I've heard of people doing the crucial pages pretty much.
Yes.
For if you have a long book and you have like a big arc, and obviously there's big turning points. I've heard of artists doing the biggest turning points first, and then like you just said, then everything in between.
You want the impactful scenes or shots to be on point. As far as like, I want to make sure that I hit this emotion or that I hit this, story beat.
Yeah. And I think it's a good strategy, actually, in my opinion. Yeah.
It's how my mind works. Not everybody has to do it the way I do it. It's just how.
No, strangely enough, I did it from start to finish. I mean, I might do different panels on the same page out of order, but on one page. But the pages themselves, I'd be doing them in order.
The last page that I finished is in the middle of the comic.
Well, I recently heard, and I don't remember, actually, I think it was Shane Davis talking on a recent stream about, I don't remember the artist he was talking about, but there was a comic artist he brought up, and he said, and I think this is probably true, the 4 most important pages in the comic are the first page, the last page, and the 2 center pages.
Yeah. That makes sense,
right?
I can agree with the first and the last. One of the things
the 2 center pages is because of the fact that since it's folded in half, if you just allow the book to open up, chances are you will just accidentally see the middle.
Oh, sure, that makes the book.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, probably a 2-page spread works best in the middle of the book.
And typically that's where the same thing with magazines, that's where they put their
exactly. Yeah, there you go.
And then also for comics, one thing I learned is that you at the bottom right, the last panel before you turn the page, that needs to either be something about to happen or something you're a reveal.
Yeah,
or you're about to reveal it because you want the person to turn the page.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what.
And the bottom right of the page, that's the uneven page, because you have the even page is going to be on the left and the uneven, unless you got ads. When you got advertisement, which we don't have in the indie sphere.
I do not have any in mind.
I mean, there are some people that do parody ads. I've seen that. I know some artists that do that.
I feel like, and I got this from a guy named Snoopy Comics, but he was like, man, every single page, do not put a blank page in. Do not, like a filler page, nothing black. Just, if you have something, you need to advertise your comic, or you need to have something that advertises your brand. You never want to have a place where it's just like, I don't really, it doesn't matter. No, everything matters, especially in this space. You want to go ahead and utilize every single bit of that because you're paying for it.
Yeah, it's real estate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I love the t-shirt so much, because it's basically a billboard, right? It's a billboard for people to wear at comic book conventions, out in public. It's a conversation piece sometimes.
100%. Yeah,
even
more so if you have a great logo. I mean, the guys in ComicsGate, they all have great shirts. Like John Malin, I don't know if you heard of John Malin. He made Graveyard Shift and Godlike. He's one of the kind of the main figures of ComicsGate. But his shirts are great because it's just a solid logo. It's a circular logo. It's iconic, recognizable, and it means something at conventions now for ComicsGate. So if you show up to a convention and you have the Godlike logo, or you have the Graveyard Shift logo, it's like instantly recognizable, and
Yeah.
he'll recognize it too. Yeah. So
Yeah, no, it's good to have that. My shirts they do have the logo on it, but like this one just sort of has the name and then the character, sort of jumping out, and I screen printed these myself. I used to work for a screen printing company that did shirt what are they, the race shirts. So we would do whatever event you were at, you'd have that on there, whatever year, and we made thousands of them, and then so I pressed my own. This is like 6 colors. Made all the shirts, bagged and tagged them myself, and they're ready to be sent over to the guys over at Critical Blast. They're going to do the fulfillment for me.
Nice.
And so I have those. And then because of my mindset, I wasn't thinking about oh, hey, what's up? I wasn't thinking about plus sizes, because usually with the racing community, it's mainly smalls through extra large. And then one of my other friends was like, well, hey, what about there's a lot of plus size people out there that do like and collect comics. I was like, oh man, you know what? You're right.
Yeah. What about the comic community?
Yeah, when
All
you're
the
talking
extra
about
large dudes.
And I was like, oh, I felt like crap. So I was like, shit, let me come up with something, something different for them.
when you say the racing
and they're-
community, are you thinking of like jockeys or
like 5K, 10K,
Oh, runners.
half marathon-
you mean.
Those were that was my
all
audience.
the skinny
And so
runners.
I was used to the order, right? So I was like, okay, here, tick, 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 just ordered them and sent it off. And
We're gonna need
So-
XL to 3XL, my guy.
so I made 2XL to 4XL in the purple shirts. And
Nice.
in the purple shirts, I didn't put the character in the middle, because I was like, well, maybe that won't look the same on a person with a bigger frame. I was like, well, what I'll do here is I'll just put the logo or the name, what do you call it? The word font. No, the word art. Just on the title on the front, and then on the sides, on the sleeves, I'll put his emblem on it. So I think I have a picture of it, but I put him on the sleeves. No, I didn't.
nice? And I want us to get to the interior art as well, Ryan.
Oh, sure.
I know people are very curious to see. Okay, what does the book look
There.
like?
Okay. So that is without
The
bubbles.
lettering, yeah.
Yes, without the bubbles, and just a little bit of the onomatopoeia in there, or as Dan likes to say, sound effects.
We love the onomatopoeia. Screw those sound effects.
So
We
this
just don't want to say
uh,
onomatopoeia. It's the best word in our language.
Oh, that
It-
crowbar is looking nice. I like that
Thank you.
crowbar.
It has gone through different iterations, and I added. I went through. This is stupid. But I was like, whatever, I don't care. I added like a
Oh wow, look at
sort
that.
of a texture,
like an
a little bit.
inlay.
and yeah, it was just like I need to do that. And Rob Marzullo was like, yeah, no, you also need to add these little lines, these little tick
Yeah.
lines, to make it look like he actually did stop it.
A little bit of dense stuff. Yeah.
Well, I say that
Sure.
because it reminds me of Half-Life 2, the video game,
Oh, okay, yeah.
where the crowbar was like a crucial aspect of that game.
This crowbar.
To anyone
looks-
who's played it,
it
like,
looks
that
different
was the
throughout the
first
whole
weapon you
book.
get in the game, and it was like, oh, the crowbar is crucial.
Yeah.
So
Well-
that's what it made me think of. Yeah.
Now, what's funny is like each of these guys has their own. Like the guy up top, he has his handgun, and this guy has a crowbar, and the other guy has like a handheld blowtorch. And I was like, I thought about it, I was like, oh, they each have one thing they brought. So I was like, okay, it was mainly for functionality versus style. So I was like, it's style over substance.
No, it's
But,
a great page though. I like the
thank you.
layout.
So I drew these first. This was one of the things that I drew first in the whole book. I was like, I need to get my action scene right. I need to make sure that this is relatable, translatable, easy to follow. And so I actually I started off drawing these on paper, and then I scanned them and then redrew for the comic. So this is the and this panel, or the action sequences, I actually drew them, I want to say back in 2010. Long time ago. I just sketched them and at that time it was just an idea, and I sketched it and I just kind of shelved it, and it was a couple years ago where I kind of came back and I was like, you know what, I want to finish this thing. I actually want to do this book. And so that's where I started, researching and getting into, doing this. And I was like, well, let me figure out how to complete a book and how easy or difficult it would be. And I tell you, with the inclusion of, Clip Studio and all that, and the parallax with the Wacom, it really, that was sort of the last little bit of the connecting chips that I needed to actually say, hey, you know what, this is doable. Zaylan. I have seen Zaylan. And
it's cool to hear that you came back to your idea of making this comic, because you said it was almost a decade ago, right? That you started with.
So
then you came back to it. Yeah, like that's so relatable, man. Like I feel like a lot of guys, even actually Frederick as well, right? He started with drawing years ago and then had to do other work and then came back to it now.
Yeah.
And even me, even though I don't have a book out yet, I'll use the word yet.
Sure.
But the first time I thought of making a graphic novel was, I think, literally 10 years ago. Like I had I came up with the title, even the story, and the overall look of it, but I didn't start drawing it yet. And I was like, this would be a great thing to create, but because of life and everything, it just didn't happen. And now with ComicsGate, I love this community, and it's so inspiring with all the channels and all the people working towards it. Like it's a group of friends now. It really is. It's a group of friends inspiring each other. We're like-minded.
It's also a support group.
It really is a support group. But we inspire each other to create, but also to not be held back by whatever hindrances exist within the corporations and the bullshit with the culture and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ryan, if you know too much about the fact that ComicsGate has a lot to do with the fact that in recent years, cancel culture resulted in people not being able to, make the kinds of stories that they wanted to, right? And so with an independent movement like this, we're able to just do whatever we want, essentially.
Okay.
And that's one of the biggest aspects to it. And I feel like it liberated a lot of people. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of in a nutshell how we feel about it. And like, it's just time to make it happen,
Okay. Yeah. No, so I came up with this idea with my kids. Like I said, I was gonna talk to this gentleman, Jens Anderson. With he worked at Sony, and for whatever reason, DC, let Sony make a video game for them. But it turned out to be a really fun game. We played it, and that's where we came up with a lot of these ideas, because we were just sort of riffing as we're playing the video game. We're like, wow, it'd be cool if this, that, whatever. And so my kids were very instrumental in helping me sort of cultivate and create this world. So we've been doing, like, since 2010, a lot of world building. And then some things happened with our family dynamic, which kind of, was the reason for it to be shelved. And then, now that, my life sort of kind of got back on track, I was like, you know what, I want to complete something and say, you know what, this is something that I have completed in my life that I can pass on to my kids, also to my grandkids and beyond, and say, you know what, this may not have done gangbusters, but at least this is something that he completed. And, bury a book with me, cool. But, I just, wanted to have something where I can say, you know what, done.
Well, you have multiple covers. You could be buried with 5 books.
Yeah. Just I was like, you know what? I want one of those Viking things. Just put me out in the lake and covered in comics and just shoot an arrow.
That'll burn quick.
Yeah. Woo, wow. Well, he did do it with what is that, foil paper? So it went up pretty quick.
No, but you're right, man. Like something that you started and finished, and it's a completed artistic work. Like. Yeah,
it's not an easy thing.
It does not need to become a millionaire project.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I think there's a lot of stuff that originally was not a $1 million product that endured the test of time, right? Like novels, especially.
Sure. I mean,
Right,
an
there's a
easy
bunch of
example would be,
novelists.
like Invincible. Like nobody knew what Invincible was until they had a TV show. Like it was there.
Right.
It was in comic stores. It was completed, but nobody really like the mainstream people. I'm sure it wasn't a million, or multi-million, dollar IP until they picked it up on Netflix and made a thing about it, and then it just went off went up and blew up, and I'm sure it's completely
when
multi-million
Hellboy was
dollar.
coming out first, like Mike Mignola's Hellboy, they were doing cancelable numbers. Like he expected his book to be canceled when he saw the print run, the numbers, and they decided to cover for him. They were like, "No, this is good art. We want you to keep doing it." And it took a while for Hellboy to I think it took the movies really helped it catch on, to be honest.
Oh, sure, definitely. A lot of these things, like Iron Man, even like nobody gave a crap about Iron Man until Favreau and Robert Downey Jr. made it something that people were like, oh, hey, this character that's been sort of shelved a little bit is actually something that we like. And
I always loved Iron Man personally because I had a French reprint of the origin story, so it was part of my growing up. But I think you're right. Like most people, it wasn't in the zeitgeist. It wasn't in people's.
But even beyond like modern media, like I'm thinking about novels, like books that were written in the early 1900s and even the 1800s. That like these writers, they did not become millionaires. Because
many people died poor.
Yeah, the books that they wrote, they wrote the book. They died, humble, with very humble circumstances. But some of those books endured, which proves that, like, you might as well create what you think of, because it could stand the test of time.
Yeah, it definitely could. I mean, everything has legs on it. It's just you have to find your audience, and that can be a challenge when, especially, even though you're connected with the internet, you're connected to so many people, right? And that 6 degrees of separation is no longer really a thing. It's more like 3 degrees or 2 degrees of separation. Like you can get, if I wanted to, I can talk to a number of people that I know through other people that I know, but either I don't, or don't really have that rapport with or whatnot. But yes, I mean, it's easier, but yet also challenging in both ways. Yep.
Can you scroll through some of the other pages? I think you had some other art, right? I'm curious to see some of that.
So here's another.
That's a cool car. Is that a 3D asset there, Ryan?
So it is an amalgamation of 3D and pictures that I could find online of a cruiser. And so it's so if you look through the book, you'll see that some of the cards that I have of this car, some of the angles of this car are not exactly the same, because it was very difficult in with the door. Even that's a random car door that I went and took a photo of, and I was like, this works. So that was it. They're slightly off. They're a mesh of a couple different, I think a charger and something else. There's a charger and something else there, or maybe 2 different years of different chargers. Yeah, so that's that. But I really wanted to, I like that I was able to make it. There's one of the things you'll see throughout the book is that, I have the panel lines and then something is crossing over, just because I want to pull the eye down from the, so the van is an area of interest, what you're looking at the top left, and then down below the van is sort of, the computer screen, which is lit up, which is lighting, or you can see the light is sort of on the back tail light, which is bringing you over to the PCPD and just kind of bringing you into that whole, you're drawing your eye, all the way from left to right. And then the
keep that eye moving in the reader's direction, right?
Yes,
zigzag through the page and all that.
Yes. And so this is sort of a this is a scene that this is one of those things where I don't really want to show too much, but I was like, you know what? It's fine. I want people to see my work. So this this little scene happens, and you'll find out why later on. But it's very I've got 3 different threads that I'm starting in this book as far as storylines, and they all sort of branch off from the same event. They branch off and go their own ways because they're following different characters.
And speaking of storylines, have you ever written anything before, or is this your first time writing a story and putting it together?
No, I was I was writing a book back in 2001, and then I set that aside and I started working on a Star Wars fan film. And this is back when episode 1 had come out and they were working on episode 2. And it was not what it is today, especially with the whole AI stuff and everything that they're making. But back then there was a website called theforce.net, and I was an artist on there, and I had released, or they had released some of the images that they got from like the clone troopers and Count Dooku's ship and the Accolade and other things. And they sent me these images that they couldn't release, because they could find, they were like, hey, can you just draw these? And so I drew them, put them up on the site. They got the exclusive, whatever, and got a lot of traffic from that. But there was a forum that they used to have. And in the forums, there was a slot called fan films. And so I just go in there and I just start watching. And that's where I got into like 3D assets and things like that, because I had met a whole lot of people that were using Lightwave and 3D Max and Maya. And so I was like, you know what? I have a background in film. I can do this. So I started writing. I wrote a treatment and I wrote a script for my own film. It was basically like an hour and 20 minutes. And I shot it. I filmed 80% on green screen because that was sort of the vibe back then.
I think that's less green screen than the
George was like, we're just doing
green
screen. That's it. That's the future. And I was like, you know what, George, you're absolutely correct. We're doing that. So I did that. And I had so many people all over the globe that were working with me. And like, let me see, I can bring up some of the things that I had.
So film was your main profession over the past?
I am an artist through and through. I dabble in music as well.
No, but I mean in terms of profession over the past, like,
that was a passion. That was a passion. I got into that. I've been on local television. I had a show that I worked on for a season until one of the producers jumped ship, and then the show didn't get a continuance. But I was heavily into film. I that was very much a passion of mine, and it's just something that's sort of in my blood that I could do. And let me see, is this it? Yeah, I'll share this right here. So if you look at this, hold on, let me close that out real quick. Look at this young gent. If I can pull it up on my other screen over here. Okay, here we go. So this is sort of what I was working on long time ago. So that young guy right there in his 20s, that was me.
This seems familiar. Have you put this on YouTube?
A long time ago, yeah.
I might have come across it.
So this is a bit like The Hobbit, basically.
kind of. So we were messing with a lot of stuff back then, and so we caught the footage and we're like, you know what, this forest looks like crap. So we were going to change the forest. We're going to rotoscope around the characters and and just change the environment. And so, this was, 3D asset that we had. And we were going to have a scene where they, there was a battle in our Emperor's, throne room and stuff like that. This was our Sith trooper, which we coined back in 2001. So we were before J.J. Abrams. So we, I don't think anybody else were, and they were red. So this again was back in 2001. And, so they kind of stole from us. That was sort of, so this was made off of a helmet, or actually the whole costume that I made. I vacuum formed it out of ABS plastic, and we used.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we were heavily into stuff. So when I get into something, I get into it as much as I can. And this is
So
sort
we
of
had
just
somebody vacuum form the whole stormtrooper costume back in art school, like one of the techs that would help the students out.
yes.
Well, on the off hours, they'd be vacuum forming the stormtroopers outfits.
So it was very intense, very challenging, 3D assets. But yeah, I mean, it was just something that we kind of got into, and I was just working on getting this thing done. This is our little TIE fighter.
So
but
this is kind of what
fighter.
got you going in terms of writing, right? So these are your first.
This is the first couple things that I was working on for myself. So that was our sort of Star Destroyer, which is more sort of rounded. I thought, if you're going 60 years into the future, it would look a little bit more quote unquote futuristic, but not too much. Where if you look at like, the Disney stuff, all it was bigger ships, and they were still angular, and they were still, I mean, it was nice. There was nothing wrong with the sequel trilogy's aesthetics. That, everything looked nice. That was our squadron that I shot on green screen. So we have different people, and they were going to be in different fighters and stuff like that. And this is one of our fighters. And yeah, so it was just a lot of.
What did you find the transition to be from writing in film to writing comics? Was that a big challenge? Was it harder to do 20 pages? Was it easier?
No, I don't want to sound, pompous or anything like that, but I don't think about that when I'm doing it. I just attack it. I'm like, I don't compare as I'm doing. I just do. And I this was easy for me as well, because I was coming up with the concepts. I was coming up with the art design for it, with the different, just everything that we had. I was sort of coming up with the look of it. I mean, it's all based on Star Wars, but I mean, I was giving my own sort of flair, my own,
yeah, you just change the color, and then
same thing with the Lambda. If you can see, it had the little curve on there, and just to kind of keep in line with the Star Destroyer, to kind of give that sort of synergy, make everything look like it belongs in the same universe and things like that. So,
this was part of your graphic design work that you did. Or you just did this as a hobby?
This was a hobby.
Oh, okay.
This was a hobby. And I knew a guy that, they were approached by Disney after they made their film. And, I had, again, same thing happened in my life that sort of, kind of caused problems family wise. And then I just kind of shelved that after a while, because that became too overbearing. And
George Lucas made threats against your life.
Yeah, he sure did. He was like, no, let Disney take care of it.
You received a handwritten letter.
He's like, I sold my soul to Mickey Mouse. So like, all right, well.
Skinwalker Ranch is in Texas, though, right?
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. So this is another
Did you say Skinwalker Ranch, Carbon? You mean Skywalker Ranch?
No. Isn't there a place called Skinwalker Ranch?
There are things called skinwalkers.
Yeah, that's
which are Native
it's not related to
that's
Star
cryptids.
Wars.
Yeah,
that's a separate thing. I guess I just connected the
two. Sorry about that.
No,
we got a new page here.
So this is sort of the first time that you see dark light energy sort of being used, in that it creates that grappling hook that I had earlier. And he's kind of just using it to propel himself to knocking this guy out right here. And then there's just other things going on. And these pages that I'm showing, they're not the completed version of what you would see in the comic. These are just one of the things that these are just pages that I kind of grabbed because I didn't want to scroll through a whole comic.
Oh, makes sense, of course. Yeah.
But yeah. So in the back, you'll see I got the guys on camera, And when I draw in some certain situations, I draw everything behind the foreground characters so that I can move them around and place them how I like.
That's the beauty
And,
of digital. You can't do that on
You can't
on
do
your
that. And
pencil.
yeah, that was one of the advantages. And again, same thing with the symbol on his sleeve. That was from a venture that I was working on with some of my other friends when they first came out with Geek Squad. We also had, our version of Geek Squad, and they would go out and they would do things and sort of, I was like, you know what, I'm going to put that logo because I kind of made that. And when I made that was sort of an homage to Superman, but not really. But I mean, you can kind of say, okay, yeah, I get that. But if you're looking at it, you would be able to really tell just because of the colors and the different things. But yeah, that was sort of that. And the characters, I'll get to them later. These thugs. But
yeah, this jump kick is giving me some Batman Hush energy.
So this one, I looked at like 3 different images of Batman and another character, maybe Daredevil, and sort of that, because I was looking on like Pinterest, and I would look for inspiration on there. Great resource for like just looking at shading, cross hatching, things like that. If you're trying to get into that, and then I added a sort of a blur to kind of give you that motion. And there's a couple of this, situations where I did use the blur effect a couple times. But then I was like, you know what, there's other situations where like the blur would work, but I wouldn't like it like this lock up here, going down. Of course it's going to be blurred, but I was like, I really liked the heat element that comes off of like what he was doing with the blowtorch on the lock, and I was like, I don't want to blur that, because then that just, in my opinion, sort of takes away. I was like, well, let me just do it as like a snapshot. You take a snapshot photo. Not every time it's blurred. Sometimes you capture it and it's like it looks like it's just in midair. So I was like, well, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case here. My buildings are all very simple in geometry. I'm not the greatest at backgrounds. If I could find a background guy, I'd definitely use them. But all my stuff is pretty much basic, and and a lot of these things and all of these things in Clip Studio, I'm using the 2-point and the 3-point perspective tools because I need them. I'm not so I'm more of a foreground artist because it's just more organic and just a lot more fun for me to draw.
That was the thing with my comic as well. Like the first book, I was like, okay, I did some simple architecture, and I want to do a little bit more detailed stuff in the second book. That's something I want to improve as well. Yeah, I really dig though that effect at the bottom of the bottom left panel. It's a simple
this one down here,
the green one. Yeah. Just the black outline. It looks. I don't know how to.
Well, I wanted to say it was kind of like an iris, kind of like, okay, I'm honing in on this particular thing, and this is where I want the audience to look at, like he's like shocked, like what's going on, and then it's got a roundhouse to the face, So, and then this is the onomatopoeia for the way this sounds. So I was like, there you go. There you have it. We've all got the iconic thwip. I wanted something that was unique.
Well, that's almost trademarked to Spider-Man, the thwip, right? It's like the
same thing with the schnicked.
Yeah. It's totally
so I was
Wolverine.
like, if y'all are gonna have something that's like that, I want something too. So I started messing around, just playing around, verbally with my kids, just making sounds. I was like, you know what? I like this. How would you spell it? So I was like, there you go. And I am not.
So you said all the pages are already completed for this book?
They are, yes.
20 pages?
All 20.
Nice. That's awesome, bro.
So I've been working
in terms of the campaign.
Yes.
What's the timeline? Like, are you closing it in a certain time? When do you expect to ship it out?
So this being my first time doing it, the main campaign closed on December 25th. And I figured closing on the 25th at 10 p.m. was a good thing because I was like, well, everybody will be done with the holiday. They'll be like, well, I'm bored with whatever this is. And maybe I'm leaving the family and going home, or maybe I'm just like, settling down and oh yeah, there's that thing that's available. let me grab a copy. But that wasn't really the case for that day. So Indiegogo does this mandatory thing where you have to wait.
The freeze
Was
out.
it 10 days, 15 days, something like that? You have to wait until you can reopen it. And so
And that's new. That's since they got taken over and did the redesign. Yeah.
So it was confusing because I selected the 26th to start the second chance. I'm sorry, the second chance campaign, and it was like, no, you can't start until the 9th. And I was like, wait a minute, the 9th. I was like, I selected this. This is my calendar. Why? And I sent them an email. They're like, oh well, we require blah blah blah. And I was like, okay,
it's so weird. I wonder, do you know why they require that?
I do not know, because they're one thing that they do is that my campaign is not discoverable anymore. You have to only find it through the link. Like if I go back to, it was funny because like half of December, like there were no other comics on Indiegogo but mine, as far as like ones that were active. Everything else was upcoming. But so when I reopened it and I went to Indiegogo, at least for me, when I clicked on creative works and then clicked on comics, I didn't see mine anymore. I was like, wait. But I clicked on the direct link, of course, just like we showed tonight, and it's there. And I'm like, all right, so it's available, but not discoverable. So you have to have people that know the link works to access. I'm not sure. So, and I'm not quite sure how it used to work, but that's how it's working now. So yeah, that's no further comment. I don't know what else to say.
Strange. I've been using.
Well, I mean, in terms of fulfilling the book, when do you expect?
Oh,
to be
sorry. Yes.
Shipping it out.
So it is open until February. I think February 9th is when it closes out for this second chance. And then we'll start fulfilling. And
cool.
I've already got everything made. The little statues and the rings and the shirts and the badges I've already got. And so Critical Blast is going to be printing the books and also sending out the Gemini mailers with them. So I've already got them boxed, but I'm going to send them all the shirts and and everything else they're in Chicago, and I'm sending that to them. And when they get that, they'll be able to take that inventory, and I'll have a spreadsheet, and then they can send everything out.
Nice. And I didn't see how much is the book.
The book itself digitally is $5.
You have multiple tiers though. Can we take a look at the tiers?
Yeah, I do. Let me go back to it. Where is it? That's y'all. Let me see. Is this it? That's it. So this one here is $15 for cover B, and that's a physical copy as well as the digital. Everything you get includes the digital. You have to have the digital in order to see all of the Easter eggs that I have, because when I was drawing on the Wacom, I didn't know that even at 600 DPI, I can zoom in almost endlessly, and so I was making little small details, and you can't see that with the naked eye.
Yeah, that's the thing with digital. You can do infinite zoom, and you can get lost.
Almost infinite zoom.
Yeah.
So so like I was saying, the digital version is $5. So it's a $5 buy-in. If you just want to read the comic, I'd appreciate it. Just give me a chance. Like, take a chance on me for $5. Thanks. I would love that. $12 is for my personal cover. My logo, I did it. I colored and drew it myself. Cover B is from Blaze Manga. They colored it for me. I drew it. It's $15 for that one. Cover C is mine. This is going to be a more limited run because I don't know that it doesn't have the word font or the title on it. It just has the logo, and I was like, you know what, maybe there will be some people that do like that, but maybe that's just too.
I actually like obscure.
It. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
It is cool.
I like that one. Yeah.
It's my personal favorite, but I was like, I don't think so. I had to put a quantity on there. I'm sorry.
That's the sexy
That's
one.
the sexy way, yes, sir. Yeah, I was like, ooh, these abs. So, but also drawn and colored by myself. This one here is the Jimmy Reyes cover, which
That's
is
my favorite.
$20, and he drew it and inked it, and I colored it. And the same thing with Rob Marzullo of Ram Studios.
This might be the last work of Jimmy Reyes.
He
Take it out.
I used to talk to him, and he just kind of like disappeared on me, and I was like, I know his dad was having like health issues because he would tell me about it all the time.
He
And,
disappeared from ComicsGate. It was a bit of a
haven't heard
controversy,
from him.
actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, he never, I kept, tagging him and stuff on Instagram and X, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna forget about you. I'm gonna keep sending you stuff, but I just never heard from him. And then if you want all 5 covers, it's just $100, and we'll give you the 3D printed ring as well. And these are they have the little the slit in the back, to where they're not closed, so that for safety reasons. How you get like all those costume jewelries or whatever. It's just reminiscent of like, if you get like a Flash ring or a Superman ring or, just any sort of, or a Green Lantern or any lantern ring, it's just that costume jewelry. So nobody gets their finger stuck. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's going purple. The ring is purple. So I hope your fingers don't.
Superhero's costume is purple. So, it would totally fit with him. Brand,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then if you want to appear in the comic, I will stop everything I've done, and I will either change one of my characters or I'll add you in somewhere where we have a couple of shots where we can do that, because this comic takes place roughly around 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning. So there's not a whole lot of people out, but I will put you in the comic if you would like to see yourself drawn by me. And then we have the t-shirts. We have these as posters as well. These are just the add-ons. If you want to grab yourself a 11x17 poster of either Rob Marzullo or Jimmy Reyes's poster size of what they did. Again, it was done. I requested 600 DPI, so it's very high detail. Very crisp lines, and then down here I have my my rings, and then my statues, and then also if you just want to have your name in the book, I have this tier here at the top, which is not showing up. Or let me go to rewards. Hold on, where is it? There it is, associate producer. So the associate producer is basically I give you everything, and I'll put your name on the first part of the the title card. Where we have everybody's credentials, and your name will be in the comic, and you get.
That's everything. Not bad, I think Carbon Heart would look nice in there.
But yeah, you get a shirt, you get a ring, you get a statue, you get all 5 covers, and then the posters as well. So everything is included in that one. If anybody is interested in just is like, what I like what you did, and I would love to keep you guys going, because I've heard that the campaign's not to recoup money from what I've already spent. It's to help go forward in making the next issue, and that's really where my focus is on the next issue. So we've already written it out. We've got it screenplay written, and already story beats and notes on that as far as panels, and so. We're going to start production on that in.
You have full-page splashes in the second one.
I do have a splash page.
Okay, now you're
it's
talking.
pretty good shot as far as
Nice.
And also, and for that one, I also have another cover by Jimmy Reyes. He gave me another cover, but he penciled it, but I'll have to ink it. So. It is still done by him. If you are a fan of his work, it will still be something that he had done. So that is, but that's everything that I am able to offer for this campaign. And I tried to do as much as I could with what little resources I have. Like I said, I made these shirts myself. I screen printed them. I got these the rings created myself. We have the STL file, same thing for the statue. Made that, so everything is done in-house, and we're not really waiting on anybody else to create something for us.
Very nice, man. No, everything looks great.
Thank you.
In all honesty, you have the whole package here. Finally, looking at the tiers and all the buying options, it looks solid, man.
It's
Definitely.
a labor of
Appreciate
love. You can tell that you've thought a lot about this project. You've thought it through, and there's layers to it as well.
There is so much detail in this thing, and I'm gonna add a few more things now that I have some time to play around with it. But like even here, just adding, I even have some graffiti back here that I was like, I need to put some more stuff on these panels. But again, same thing. There's a lot of different things. There's some onomatopoeia that's missing from this page that really makes it pop, but it's actually in the trailer that I made. But yeah, there's just so much going on. Got these, I don't know, man. I'm very proud of what I've done. Because I was like, you know what? I've never, when you've never tackled something like that before, and you actually get to the finish line, you're like, man, I did that. I got there. I finished it. I completed it. How did I do this? I mean, it's just been a lot of, seriously, I'm waking up at like 4:30 to 5 in the morning before I went to work. During my lunch break, I'd go and I'd sit in like, a Whataburger or a Chick-fil-A or wherever and just draw and color for the hour. And anywhere that I could, even at night, I'm up late, everybody else is asleep. Same thing on the weekends, just really, coming back on this and revisiting it for the past couple of years. So yeah, it's not something that I rushed. And it's not something that, I felt like, didn't get my full attention. It definitely did. And, I'm just, very, very happy with how all this stuff has turned out. This is somewhat flatting, but also a little bit of coloring as well, just so you can kind of see like this is during the process. So I'm coloring the buildings and the van lights down below. Now this van here is a van that I used to drive. So I had access to it all the time, because this is where we, have all the race shirts and the race stuff, and I'd take it around town and all that kind of stuff. So I just took pictures of myself, or my, that is the actual steering column. That's the actual back of the van. Yeah, I put everything in here. Some of the grime on the dumpsters, you can see it from this angle. I tried to make the trash cans look like, they were real cylinders. I got the little swoosh, but then I also have onomatopoeia that's going behind the thug that's being thrown at the top right. And then, this is another shot where, at the top left, where he's being kind of pulled around like a 360 before he gets thrown, is another one where I put, motion blur on it, only on a portion of his hand, is kind of swinging. So let's see. And then there's more. Where am I? This is like the whole comic almost. This picture.
Well, you don't want to show the whole thing.
I don't want to show the whole thing.
No, right?
This is something that I'm going to
mystery.
release on the website. It was actually in the comic, and the page that I just completed yesterday replaces this one, because this one did not have anything to do with the story itself. It was just, if you recall, like He-Man or G.I. Joe at the end of the shows, they would always have that one, like,
Educational
moment
Yeah.
or whatever, just kind of like a life lesson or whatever. And I was
Like
like, yeah,
G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle.
yes. So I was like, let me have something similar to that. And so I created this, and I drew it in a different style, and I put it in black and white because it, manga. And I was like, you know what? Let me put this in here. And then we sent it out to like test readers, and a couple of them came back and was like, yeah, when I got to this page, it confused me because it had nothing to do with the story, and it looked a little different, and it was in black and white. So I wasn't quite sure it was finished or not. So I was like, you know what? this didn't really land the way I was hoping it would. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to release these every so often on the website. But this will be the first one that releases on zevercomics.com, just as a just a clip. It has nothing to do with the story. It's just a moment in time that our hero is just sort of like, saying, hey, you know what? Wouldn't it be cooler if you did this or whatever, So, but yeah.
Well, it's probably a way to deliver it within the book, but it would probably require an additional page, which obviously would require be more money.
Right.
You need
it would require to
have a clear
sides.
ending. Yeah, you need a clear, sharp ending.
Yeah.
And then probably another a page turn, and then another clear introduction saying, hey, this is something different. Something that calls out to the fact that this is an appendix, but that would be another page.
Yes. My producer kind of, was talking to me about that. We're like, if we add another page in here, that's basically 3 more sides that you'll have to figure out what you need, to do. And it was like, well, you can either do that or you can add this other page that will help out with the narrative, and we'll keep the page count the same. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And so I created, start to finish on the panel or for the panels. And I said, okay, this is going to be what will help the story make a little bit more, give it a little bit, it'll enrich it a little bit more. So it's not just a page, a filler page. It's a page that actually has context to it and really helps the audience to connect with the dark light energy. So, very
like a supplemental. So
yes.
Yeah.
Let me see. Is that
nice?
Hold on one second.
Well, Frederick, let me ask you. I mean, since it's getting late into the evening, do we want to cover some other stuff tonight, or want to just kind of wrap up with campaigns, or what?
We could cover a little bit of stuff as well. Like you've got some stuff queued up, right?
I got a bunch of stuff.
Okay, well, we could get into it. Ryan, you're welcome to stay on with us when we go into supplemental stuff. But if you ever have to hop off, just let me know.
Okay, I'll hit you up in the private chat. But no, I appreciate it. I mean, I don't want to come over here and say, "Hey guys, buy my stuff," and I'm out. So
no, I mean
that's not how I roll.
We usually run through a lot of things, different topics, and
okay. Well, I mean, I'll kind of gauge, what we're talking about here and see if I can weigh.
Well, at the very least, I do want to pull up and promote Patrick's River of Blood. Make sure we get that done tonight.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So I'll pull up. I have it already up. Nice. This is a comic campaign by the usual host of our show, Ryan.
Okay.
And give me 1 second.
Sure.
Yep, I'll try to.
We got Patrick Quinlan's River of Blood.
Okay, let me just remove here.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, you got it. There we go.
On Fun Like Comic. This will be approximately 70 pages.
Ooh.
This is a sequel to a kind of anthology series as part of the Phenomenal Tales series. And let's play the trailer.
Please do.
That was cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
You got the horror vibe in the trailer.
Yeah, I like
Hell
the art.
yeah.
Very realistic.
Yeah, Peter Gilmore.
The lighting is really nice.
is incredible artist. He's been on he's a king now, right? He's like a ComicsGate king with
Yes,
Nathan
Peter
Jones.
Gilmore, excellent artist.
Yeah.
Written by
Well,
Patrick Quinlan, all the art, coloring, penciling, and inking by Peter Gilmore. Just crossed the $4,000 threshold.
Oh, sweet.
We're gonna take credit for that, even though it's not. We didn't do that, but I'll just say that it happened
totally
tonight.
did that, Carbon. Totally.
That happened tonight, by the way.
Oh, nice.
And
Very cool, very
scrolling
cool.
down, we got some excellent images here.
Well, I'll have you know I put the link in the description, so Carbon, it's undeniably due to that, clearly.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get a couple more sales tonight for sure. $20, cover A by Peter Gilmore. I'm psyched about this book, dude.
Me too, dude.
70
I'm
pages.
in the book. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, you got a cameo?
There is a Frenchman who gets decapitated or dismembered somehow, and I am that Frenchman apparently.
Oh shit. That's awesome.
Isn't that great?
That's great. Nah, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be hilarious. Cover B with the Wendigo creature. I actually got everything because I'm like, I love this cover because it's symmetrical and iconic. Love this one with the creature. Then I'm like, I want the nice pastoral, kind of Bob Ross, right? Wrap around with the trees and everything.
Yeah, dude. And it's the deluxe edition. That one's
the deluxe.
It's gonna have a little extra padding, I believe, like some making of.
Yeah, like a nice thick hardcover. So I got all three. It's not that bad. 40, what was that, 75? I think there's actually a deal. Yeah, wait a minute. You can get A plus the deluxe, B deluxe, and then all three. Where's the all three?
That is that the one?
That's with Phenomenon. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, 70 for all three. A, B, and the deluxe. This is the book to back, people. I'm telling you.
This is like Peter's best work. Like, I mean,
it really is. I mean, like, yeah, you said it. I didn't want to say that directly. I've been saying that, like, everything I've been seeing from him has been improving over the past couple of years, like with each new project. But like, this is like spot on, man. Like every page looks sick.
Yeah, and it's a mixture of digital and traditional, from what I understand. Like,
I think he's coloring digitally. He's penciling traditional, and then he's coloring digitally.
Mm-hmm. Look at that! Isn't that freaking awesome, man? Like, I'm loving, dude. There is a resurgence in the stories of comics in ComicsGate. Like, we are finding all the good stuff that was like in the 60s before the Comics Code Authority, all the horror books, all the various genres and themes, and nothing against superheroes. Yeah. My book's a superhero book, so I love that shit.
Yeah.
But it's so refreshing to see all the other genres come back and it have such a rich tapestry of stories in comics again.
Dude, 2026 is the year, man. Like, there's a ton of good stuff coming. We got Godlike 2. We got this. We got Rattel.
Mm-hmm. I need to get on the Godlike 2. I've been because as a Canadian, I hold out until I'm going to buy like 2 or 3 issues of something. It's just the shipping is so crazy that it's often more than the book. So I'm like, okay, I'll get the stuff when issue 2 comes out or 3. I get a package. Makes a lot more sense in Canada. And I've got stuff from Ethan. I've got Inglorious Rex now.
Inglorious Rex 3 is coming out.
I know.
Cash Grab 2, by the way, which is hilarious.
I haven't gotten the Cash Grab yet, but I want Godlike. I backed the Red Riding Hood.
Black Riding Hood 2.
Black Riding Hood. 2.
Oh hell yeah!
With the reprint of the first one as well. I mean, that was just from talking with you. I mean, there's such excitement around that book that I'm like, okay, I want to grab that one.
Ethan actually, he's working on the cover for a second
I
chance.
saw that.
You saw the cover? Yeah, it looks great.
I saw him working on it. Yeah, he's got the Ku Klux
I'm gonna
Klan
buy that
symbols.
cover too.
Nice.
Fuck yeah! But so I have something else queued up. Speaking of this campaign,
Yeah.
and we don't have to watch the whole thing, obviously, but John Malin did a stream. We talked about this last week.
Yeah, we were going to watch it last week. We just got overtime on the streams. We ran out of time.
Yeah,
I wanna
and
see
it's
this
funny.
too.
I'll play it at like a faster speed.
Okay.
Yeah, 1.25, so that way we get through it faster. But it was funny because I was actually watching this live as it happened.
I haven't seen it, so I've only heard about this. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
But it's the first time John saw this campaign for River of Blood. Yeah, I just pulled it up now.
Oh, let me add you to stage. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, yeah. So here's where somebody in the chat said, hey, take a look at this campaign. And then he went to find my comic and he pulled it up. Let me know if you can't hear it or everything's fine.
Here we go. Fund my comic, guys.
It's all good.
River
All good.
Blood. Great title. Oh, he's from St. Louis, Missouri. Got family out that way. River Blood. Great looking monster here. Screaming stuff. Let's just go right to here. Oh. Beowulf. Did Beowulf recommend this because there's Indian chaining in here? I mean, all right, let's back it up. That's pretty cool. Like that.
And John is not easy on the compliments, by the way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's the
It looks a
pain in
little
the
more
ass.
Mexican, though.
Yeah, he's very good.
We'll see in a minute. Criticism.
We got a Wendigo. Beowulf works in mysterious ways. Who can say, John? Yeah, I guess. No, because it's Peter Gilmore and more people need to see it. Oh, is this Peter Gilmore art? Yeah, I guess Indians do look a bit Mexican. I mean, there's not a lot of difference, I guess. You know.
Come on.
Is that what this is? Is it Peter Gilmore art? I didn't see any credits or anything. Did I miss that? Oh wait, actually, we'll just pop out of here, right? And we'll look at the campaign, and that'll tell us what we got. Dead set on bitter revenge, a young man must face his fears if he is to defeat the mind-numbing horror that obliterated his tribe. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, Quinlan Gilmore, Peter Gilmore. You know, it looks good and spooky there. River of Blood is the next installment in the Phenomenal Tales series, created and written by Patrick Quinlan, with art by the CG king of horror, Peter Gilmore. River of Blood takes us back to the year 1526 for a pseudo-historical tale of horror and brutality. Okay. I wonder how the text is going to land on here. Looks nice. Coloring looks nice. I like this. Either snow or star. What we're looking at in the sky there. Yeah, I guess it's snow. Tracks leading this way back into the page, not out. You know, just minor thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is such a real beautiful panel right here. With all this space, I just wish that maybe, because there's got to be a fair amount of text here. You go up a little higher, because like these are good spots to put text, not necessarily here. I'm just saying in these big open areas. So you're going to end up putting something right here on the left, and then how does that work in the composition when you get a big square sitting here? So if you would have had, if you flip the page and you left that sky there, that's a perfect spot for a caption. And then if you have more, then you can kind of just kind of chip it in there somewhere. But anyways, here, there's not a whole lot of room. Immediately, you're going to be covering up these branches and probably some of these treetops. But if you brought this up higher, you could have more negative space and you could drop in 1, 2 captions, and then the eye just travels down. I don't know if the guy is saying anything or not, but if he does, you get a little word balloon right there. And you minimize how much trees are being covered up. Not a big deal, whatever, But if these branches weren't here, that'd be a pretty clean spot for just one caption. Bam. But now you're going to cover up
Katie?
at least these branches.
What's up, Katie?
Where's he at in panel 1?
What's up?
Hello.
That's just the treetop, right? That's not him.
Not much. We're just watching John's review of Patrick's campaign here.
I think it'd be nice to see
Yes,
him
I was
in panel 1.
pause it real
Right
quick.
where that tree is at. You can even take that.
I actually clipped this for I gotta go back through my gallery, but I believe I recorded this when I was driving because I was listening in the car. I was like, oh shoot, well let me pull over here and let me get on my phone and let me set the recording on it. So, and yeah, it's he did a really long look at his campaign, and that's awesome. And I think John gave good feedback.
Yeah, we're just listening through it right now. It's interesting. He's a lot of contemplative moments as well. He's just looking at it, taking it in. It's breathtaking artwork.
He's become very focused on text boxes lately. I don't know if you noticed that. Right? He always focuses on.
I noticed he was focusing on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets a little nitpicky later on, which is funny. But no, actually, the funny thing is, I agree with all his tips. I actually agree with on these pages, and you can let me know what you think afterwards. But Katie, what are you driving right now?
Yeah. Does it sound weird?
It's not too bad.
No,
actually.
it's okay.
The mic's
We
pretty
hear
good.
you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Am I too loud?
No,
yeah,
it's good. It's good.
What are you driving right now? 11 p.m. at night. Were you coming home from work?
No, I went to the grocery store tonight to get some of the kids' stuff for their lunches this week. There's a couple of things I realized that we didn't have, and I was like, well, shit. So I went to run down to the grocery store before it closed, grab those things. So, and I'm headed my way back, and I was like, well, I don't want to be too late by the time I got home, so I figure I jump on now. So apologies for the terrible audio quality I bring to the show.
No, you sound fine.
It's actually better. It's better than last week when the mic was clipping in and out. So this is actually pretty decent.
Okay, good. I'm so sorry. 2026 is going to be working on audio.
We want to make sure you're not hanging out at Walmart too late.
I'm not even. No, I got out of that bitch quick. I don't play around with Walmart late at night. Fucking weirdo and meth heads and idiots. You get one every blue moon down the aisle that's just like, oh my God, why are you here? You need to go home and sober up, whatever it is you're on.
You gotta get home early. Yeah, before 10 p.m., Katie,
Right.
Right. That. Yeah.
All right, I'll play the clip.
Play the clip.
A little human figure there. And say, oh, look, this guy. Then we see him again for the second time. And maybe even getting his feet a little bit away from this panel border, a little bit more room down here. I wouldn't want to get into this panel anymore, but I mean, if you're working digitally, you can just slide this thing up. And again, add a little more room down below. He's almost walking right down there on the panel border. Give him a little bit room for aura. Then these water deer prints look pretty cool. This is our guy. This is our hunter, or not. Does he have a hood on? Looks like he's got like a big old jacket on, like a trapper jacket. But there does seem to be a bow there.
So I'm going to ask you guys. I paused it, right?
Mhm.
What do you think his criticism is going to be of this panel on the top left of the hunter with the bow and arrow?
Probably something about dialogue boxes.
Skin color.
Not well. Actually, Katie saw it already though. So
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking like, well, from the brow to the scalp. I was like, ooh, that looks like a line that's like separating. It's like wait.
his forehead. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like make it blend a little bit because it's the forehead looks a little.
It's hard to
odd.
see
Yeah.
at this size, but
It's like just
is it
being
like a
that
piece of
size
string
and being
that's
sort of
holding up the
pixelated.
feathers, or
Yeah. And maybe
All right,
the
I'll
feathers
play
are
it.
wrong. Maybe
I'm
they should be
gonna
on the
let
other
it
side.
play.
I'm going to say real quick. Also, the fingers that are holding back the bow. It seems we're just seeing two fingers. It'd be nice to see a little bit of the hand, so it's more complete in terms of seeing the hand. It's not just the fingers coming out of the side of the panel. That's the thing I see. We'll see what he has to say.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good critique. I'll admit I did not think of this until he said it. Right? Okay, so I'll play it.
Is that how Indians hold a bow on the feather end? Isn't it normally like this thing? Like you pull back the string with that. If you're holding with your tip, it just doesn't seem like it'd be a very powerful bow. The pounds, like how many pounds it takes to pull it back. They say the Mongolians had a real sturdy bow. It took a lot of power to pull it back, but they said that even the women were strong enough to pull these Mongolian bows back because everyone was trained to kill. I wonder what that was like. I wonder if they had ripped arms or like really calloused fingers. People back in the old days, even the women, just had working hands. So imagine short people like Fagotree, except they're jacked. They're pulling bows back all day long. And they're all killing. And they're all on their horses. They're like trick riders. These guys could ride their horses backwards, forwards. They could be flipping off the shit, like all those little trick riders do. They could do that shit.
There's more horses
So they
than
could
people
flip,
over
they could
there.
flip on their horse backwards while they're retreating from you. They could turn around so they're facing you while their horse is running backwards, and they could just start shooting your ass with fucking arrows while retreating. Isn't that crazy? Mongolian, incredible people. That's my family too. Shout out. When the Mongol horde returns and is taking over all the nations, I'll be okay because my sister-in-law is Mongolian.
Where does
You
his
guys know how
mind go?
Anyways, so this bow looks like it's kind of easy to pull back. I don't know. But I feel like that. Oh, where's the string? Could be one of those young blood bows, or the bow from the guy in Dungeons and Dragons. Remember, he didn't have a string on his bow either. But there should be a string coming down to the end of this arrow. It's not here. We got to get that string, guys. This is where editors come in.
It's translucent.
Got to get that string, guys, on that bow. Let's see. A little snowy.
I didn't think about the string, but I
That's all
guess
right. Cute
it's
little
true.
deer.
Yeah, me
Probably not
neither,
gonna
but
live
it's a
long.
good point.
Yeah.
Nope. That's a baby deer. Well, I guess it could be a doe, right?
That's Bambi.
Fagotree, it is not too thin and angled. Like strings just don't. It's not fishing line. God damn it. Damn, Fagotree, what the hell, man? Anyways, yeah, it looks like a little baby deer. But look, honestly, if I'm a fucking
I
Indian?
find it
Bill,
hilarious.
if you can correct me if this is way off
It's
base or not.
slow, but
If
it's,
I'm a fucking Indian
to
and
me,
this is
it's
what,
freaking funny,
1500 or
man.
something like that,
Yeah.
and I'm hungry, I'm just gonna eat whatever the fuck I want. I mean, you're gonna eat a fucking bunny rabbit, right? You can eat a bunny rabbit. So why not kill a little baby deer? If you're hungry, just kill that fucking deer. What do you fucking care? Not to mention, deer are like fucking rats. You know,
Makes
they're like
sense.
mice.
It's good meat.
Like if you're not killing deer, and they're just everywhere, dude. Deer are fucking everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, if you're hungry, yeah, I guess just kill that fucker. It's just like another rat, right? That deer is like the rat.
It's probably much cleaner.
Yeah,
meat
dinner is
than
dinner. Yeah, who cares if you kill a
rat
fucking
meat.
Bambi? If you're fucking hungry, just kill that fucking Bambi. That might be a doe. It might be a larger deer. It looks like Bambi though. How he's holding that, I don't know if that's right. What do I fucking know? I ain't shooting anything. Bow and arrows. Here's another thing. You know, like again, if there is any caption, any text, whatever, there's not a clean enough room here. Let's see what we got. So you can put stuff here. You can put stuff here. You can put stuff here. But when you get to this panel, if you're gonna do a panel like that where you just fill it kind of up, make it like it's a quiet panel. You know, it's just no text. It's like Mike Mignola. Like, you know, here's an owl watching you. Yeah, I would probably put a little extra room up top, maybe a little room down below. You know, his head is kind of the same thing, right? Like it's almost claustrophobic. If you're trying to get claustrophobic, like in a horror story like shit's getting real, yeah, maybe that's the right time to do that. But if this is just kind of casual, cutting this stuff up, and maybe there's a little dramatic text, raise this panel up and probably drag it down because this is a lot of wasted room here. And this is like a design thing. A lot of people do this. They get like really fancy design, but then it kind of ruins the feng shui of the page, I guess. So he's pointing over here, which is good. So this leads us into here. But if we have text down below, that brings our eye past the arrow, right? So
I don't think the guy's going to be talking.
You see this arrow, now your eye goes
hunting a deer,
right.
though.
So everything.
Like I don't see him talking while he's about to shoot an arrow just to be.
Is
Most
that
likely,
a doe or is that a baby deer? I don't care. I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah, the panels to the left will most likely not have any text boxes.
If it is, it's a caption, right? It's not him talking.
I remember
would be in
Patrick.
the middle.
Patrick does the storyboards to these pages. I don't know if he did all of them for this book, but and he always does.
Yeah, he likes to do the layouts,
and he is conscious of the space for caption boxes. So I think he probably took this into consideration, but yeah, most likely this panel won't have any text. Maybe the one on the right will, and the one on the bottom right. I think Patrick probably thought about that already.
Nah, maybe if anything. I'm sorry, real quick. I'm sorry, Ryan. I didn't mean to cut you off. By the way, hello, Ryan.
Hello.
But he could be he was thinking to himself, talking to himself inside his mind. So you can do, was it like inner thoughts or something? Instead of like a dialogue bubble, he's just kind of like, I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I'd put like a narrator.
Okay. I feel like I'm a retard trying to explain this.
No, you're right on.
Okay.
A narrator's caption box would do the trick.
I would put it like right underneath his I guess fingers in the foreground, and bring it down low, right underneath where the doe is eating, like sort of in that shadow area, but right where the white and the black, like sort of where those cavities are. I'd put something right there, and then below, like above the fire, but to the right, sort of in between the guy and the fire. If I was going to continue with information or something to read, that's where I would just sort of, that's the, like where the shadow and the smoke are. And then the bottom of the bow is where I would sort of live.
That'd be perfect for hiding the fact that there's no string on the bow. I love it.
Well, and you can say just say breathe, inhale, or like just where he's about ready to take the shot, like in his inner thoughts, like he's coaching himself through it, but do it in short. I don't know, you got to think like a hunter. Like, what are you think? Like, when you got to target, you were just merely telling yourself, all right, aim, deep breaths, so shoot, it's intense moment. So I don't know. That's just how us Southerners think, I guess. I don't know. It's almost poetry,
He's definitely thinking about what sauce is going to be putting on that meat.
Yeah, how good it's going to look on the little rock in the fire. Patrick would kill me right now.
How would you cook that that baby deer, Katie?
How would you cook it? I put it, honestly, you would need to me, I hate that game taste, like that gamey taste. It, oh God, it smells awful too.
Have you
so it
ever
makes me
eaten
feel-
deer meat? Have you had venison before?
Yes, plenty of times.
Venison's not that gamey though. Venison's pretty good.
It's
it's
all about
processed
how
with,
you cook it, though, Carbon. It's not something. It's you gotta know how to cook it. Like if you don't, it's not like you could slap a steak on a grill. You know, it's not. It's tenderizing it. It's the seasoning you put on it. You know, like I have a
Yeah.
seasoning that I used to get at the oh God, what was it, Tractor Supply? It was a hunting store for seasoning meat.
You
Because
get it
I
from
can
the
taste the game.
Tractor
Personally, to
Supply?
me, I can smell it and taste it. So I'm particular how I cook it. But I would let it sit in some seasoning, and then put that thing on a grill or
Mhm.
like with the foil, you know, just so it gets warm and hot. And then put some like marks on that bitch and sear it. But sometimes I've done it on the stove, like or I put it in a stew. It just depends on
I'm curious
what's
what
good, but
seasoning. I just want to know what seasoning you use.
it's God, what was the name? I
Ketchup.
can't remember the name, but it was like a meat tenderizer, but it was for venison.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know the name, but I've heard of that. Yeah,
You know what? Yeah, it's to
I
help.
don't
Like
cook. I don't cook, Katie. You know.
I mean, you're up in New York. Well, wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. The women do the cooking. Never mind.
I just try it out. I'll let you know if it's good or not.
No, it's
All right.
good. It's healthy for you too. It's healthy for you as well. So, but deer
Fuck it.
jerky's
None
really
of this
good.
stuff really matters because you're already leaving my eye out. But if you're gonna have text, you're probably putting text right down here
Yeah.
because there's no room up above. And this is what you have to. If you're gonna design, if you're gonna be designing things, you need to be thinking about these things as you lay them out, as you're roughing out your design. So you have to keep making adjustments. So you're leaving the eye out. So everything pretty much from right here and below is no point to it, except for room for text, which defeats the point of you already leading my eye out with that. So if I got a text balloon or a caption box right down here, now my eye has gone past the thing that I'm supposed to be let out by, and I come all the way down here. And the thing is once I get down in here on text, now my eye kind of gets drawn to this thing, which is now butted up here, right? Because I'm going to be right by I'm going to read right here, and then my eye catches here now. So even though there's like a natural pull to the right, once you get down here, there's a pull down. So now I kind of want to go down here. Like, I'm just curious, do I read that next? Is that going to work? So you got to get here. So in other words, if you're going to get the eye out, let's get the text above and caption, word balloon, whatever it's going to be. This whole Indian could just, if you could isolate him, and like if this is done in Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint, you drag him down. So there'll be a lot more negative space up above his head. Because we don't need any of this stuff. You know, Shane said the other day, he's like, there's not a lot to see, past I don't know, the waist or something like that. And that's true here. It's like there's nothing interesting there, except for
He does bring up an interesting point, and Frederick left because I wanted to.
No, I was about to leave and go get some beef jerky because you guys are making me hungry.
Yeah, actually, I'm hungry too now. But
I ate before the stream, so
interesting point that very often, and when I saw this, I was thinking about empty space, right? Because if down here, this is essentially stuff that does not need to be even drawn or rendered, right? Because you get the whole point of this panel with like 3/4 of it. So unless you're gonna put a text box here, and then he actually makes a good point. It sounds nitpicky.
No, I agree with him on the text box placement.
He's talking about like your eye flow, like where you're moving.
But to be fair, we don't know if there's going to be a text box there or not. Like, if there's no text box in the first panel, I think his criticism,
right? But if there
apply.
is, the only place to put it would be down here, because obviously you're not going to put it up here
for sure.
You're not going to cover the art, so it would be here. But then he said, if it's down here, your eye is not following the narrative flow of the page anymore.
Mhm.
Because you're looking here, but then your eye is close to this. You ever had a comic page where you get confused
Oh,
as
yeah.
to
Sure.
where to go next?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's like sometimes there's crazy panels, and you're like, oh, am I supposed to go down here next?
Mhm.
Yeah, this is not a good example, but I've seen crazy pages where it's not like a clear clockwise direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some European Bandisne, they actually draw arrows so you know which way to. Which I hated. I hate that. I think you should not need to require to draw
Yeah.
arrows on your page, but like the way the arrow points to the next panel, the fawn with its head down points to the other panel at the right bottom.
Mhm.
It flows naturally on the page, but we don't know where the text is going to be yet.
Yeah, and then you find yourself defaulting to like the American reading standard, which is obviously left to right from top and then bottom. So then I go, oh, let me read. Can you see my mouse? Or no?
No.
Well, then you find, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, you get my point where it's like I've seen double page spreads with text boxes all over the place and like multiple panels,
Mhm.
and it gets a little confusing. And I'm like, all right, let me just go top left to top right all the way, and then jump down to bottom left to bottom right. And then by the end of it, I'm like, I don't even know if that made sense. You know? But you just move on anyway. It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Area for text to go over. So, anyways, goes over here. Then it should go here. Then it should go here. And he's cooking. I don't know what he's cooking. What is that? A leg? A butt? What's he cooking? I don't know. What do? You just like if you're an Indian, do you just skin the deer and put it up on there, or is that what? What do we got? I don't know. But the coloring here, the snow and little flickers of the what are embers there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Even the art is good. It's just the design is a little bad. It's almost good. I mean, it's nice. It's attractive, but
it's almost
doesn't quite
good.
work for me. And then, ooh, look at this Woden shot.
I feel like Patrick
They
would
summoned
find this
Woden
very
shot.
funny.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is
Patrick
funny.
was
That should make him
hearing
happy.
it.
Where is he? John, do you want to come hang at my $5 million penthouse? Yeah, let's fucking get drunk. No gay shit, but yeah, you got a $5 million penthouse. Let's go fucking party, dude. John getting all nitpicky like Friday night. Guys, I'm always nitpicky. What do you want? I'm explaining shit.
Which is normal. I mean, when you
Well,
love
it's all-
comics, you always find things to improve,
That's Moloch. Oh no.
especially from your point of view.
Well, and the thing
Buddy
is
Woden
too
shot
is
doesn't
that
FW
I'm sorry,
anymore.
pause real quick.
FWU.
The thing is too is this is John. It's a professional. It's one thing when you hear someone critique it. I mean, all critiques are important to listen to, but if there's one that you want someone to be very nitpicky about, it'd be someone like John, like a professional, because at least you know that what they're telling you is from experience and knowledge.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, if I had a current campaign with art up, like, I would love to get nitpicky criticism from anybody, like, about every error, like on every page.
Yeah. Well, that's why I reached out to Dan, because I was like, "Yo, let me pick your brain," and I'm not too proud that I won't take the advice and change some things that I've done. So, I mean, if you're willing to accept critique, then hey, hopefully it'll make you see something from a different perspective. Maybe something was brought up that you weren't originally paying attention to, or even looking at. Like, it's the same thing with like if you flip an image and you look at it the same way, but we're just flipped, you start seeing things that you didn't notice before. And that I do that all the time. I'm like, oh wow, that actually looks like crap. It looked great when I was looking at it the other way because of the way that, or the angle I was looking at the page or whatever. But then when I flip it, I'm like, oh man, the proportions are wrong, or the face is skewed, or the arm is too long that I didn't notice. So having somebody else have eyes have a look at it and say, hey, you know what, I've noticed these things. They could be things that you would want to change, or they could be things that you had like, hey, I understand where you're coming from, but that was sort of the intention of what I was doing. So it just depends. Again, we don't have the panels on the screen are on the page from the last, page or whatever. But, like if I were looking at this page here with the owl, I would put, if I were going to put text box, I'd put it on the right, where that big black blob is right there next to the smoke going up to, right next to the owl's head. I would put captions down, down that between those two trees. And that's kind of where where that would live. And I think those are eyes below. Maybe that's wolves looking at them.
Yeah, those are.
Maybe you don't want to cover that up
in the
either.
background.
But yeah, it's. I mean, there's really good art.
Yeah, no, obviously it's great art, but the challenge is the storytelling and the narrative. It's true when it comes to the text boxes. I never really thought about it that much in the past, but like I was saying before, when you find yourself being confused, like as to which one I should be looking at first, like I don't know if you've ever read many comics and you saw that where like, oh, where do I go next? Because like there's so many text boxes on the page.
Yeah, usually when
that
the
happens,
text boxes
it's like,
are small, right? When they're really small, and you're like, okay, do I go left to right, or do I go up and down, or like,
yeah,
is this box is on top of that box? So does that mean that this box takes place before that box, or is it stacking up, or is it stacking down? There's a lot of different things that people are just like, oh yeah, no, the reader will get it, but that might not be the case. They might get lost. And then if they get lost, then a lot of people aren't going to go back and try to figure it out. They're just going to, like you said, continue on to the next page and be like, yeah.
Exactly. Because like even on this page, let's say if like on the left side, all along the left side vertically, there was text going all the way down. And then on the right side, there was text boxes going down. It's like, okay, what do I do? Like, do I read all the way down first? Or do I go left, right? Like it might sound stupid, but when you're reading it, like, okay, it can get a little confusing. So
yeah,
it makes a difference.
What's that to fuck with? Fuck. What's all this shorthand? Dago Tree, it's not even a super chat. Spell shit out. All right, let's keep going. Oh, is that a pattern? What is this? I thought that was just like a JPEG thing. There's like a crazy what is that? Conch shell kind of pattern going on there? Spiral. There's something going right here too. These eyes are kind of black. I wish these would pop out a little bit more. Like they're glowing, but they're also in shadow. It's just light. Like light travels.
Yeah, those wolves might be pretty steady also in the background.
I'm looking at the chat right now. Bearwolf said, "Stupid bird is talking mad shit on X. I'll pluck his feathers." Lol. One shot still crying about Manny being on hard art. Yeah. Pontiac G6. Woo. It's common. Yeah, I guess if you live on the internet. If you don't have a life and you live on the internet.
Yeah, this is where Katie's clips come in handy. Because Katie cuts out all like the chaff in between.
After months of harrowing survival in the bitter throes
Yep.
of winter, young Sanak finally heads home to what he expects as a hero's welcome. What he finds instead tests his very sanity. This guy looks white. It's the same guy. Is this him? That's white man flesh tone. We need maybe a little brown, a little red, maybe.
I do agree with that. Having seen a lot of Native Americans, it's a different flesh tone.
You know what's so funny? Here in the video, since I was watching this the live stream, I was in the chat commenting against John because he was criticizing that this dude right here was too light skinned. He's like, oh, this dude looks white. He doesn't look Native American. And then I was in the chat going, well, like that's a light 10. It's not really. You could tell that he has a 10, this guy.
Perhaps, but there's a difference in the hue as well. Like he's a little on the pink side, whereas Indian skin, it's way more brownish, like leathery. I've spoken to a few like real Native Americans. Like when you see them, I met one of the guys who actually plays American Indians in Netflix specials in films, so he looks like an Indian.
No, I'm not doubting you, but it's so funny because what I'm about to tell you is the same thing I said to John, which is you have natives all across the whole continent, which had, they had different complexions, right? Because the climates were different, like obviously in Canada versus like the southern portion of North America.
Yeah, but none of them look like the white man, though.
Yeah, I know, but the color of their skin varied. And then it's funny because I commented, actually, let me play the video. And then he responds to me. He pulls up pictures of
I am under 50.
of Native Americans.
Yeah, I'm not Gen Z. Not lame Gen Z, though. He's not white. He's half Portuguese. There were natives with light tans. That is not a light tan. That
Yeah,
guy
there
is
you go.
white.
Hold on. Let me go back.
Look. There were natives with light tans. That is not a light tan. That guy is as white as me. Look at me. Look at him. That guy is white. He is white. He's a white man. With, are those green eyes? I don't know. Pink lips? Look at pink lips? Come on, that's a white dude. It's a white dude. Indians with pink lips. Who was that? Who was weeping? Carbon Heart. How dare you? You're sweeping. Pink lips. Let me find some Indians.
Called you out, Carmen.
Yeah, I giggle when I listen to it in the car. I was like, there's Carbon. I was wondering if you were in the chat during this time because, like I said, I wasn't watching. I was listening to it because I was driving. So.
Yeah, but look, he pulls up. Now he's going to pull up pictures of Native Americans.
He looks.
And the first one he pulls up is a light-skinned guy.
Yeah, but these are Native Americans today. Like, oh, that's not a light-skinned guy.
Let's get a real Indian in here now.
Yeah, but if the light is, look, look at this dude
right there, guys.
That's not a pink hue, dude. That's
his lips are stained.
But no, my
skin
point
was
is
stained.
light versus dark. Obviously, there's a whole.
Listen,
spectrum
I've
of
seen Dances
color.
with Wolves. I know what Indians look like.
Oh, here's a.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with the
wide variety of
likeness.
natives,
For me, it's the
North and South
pinkish hue
American.
that is more.
Is this our culprit? Is this our Indian?
That's more of a apocalypto.
Yeah, but actually, this is pretty much the end of the his critique on the comic.
Yeah, because then he kind of goes on to something else.
Yeah, he tangents out.
But yeah, that's the thing is, I cut out those parts in between. That's just not, I try to make sure I get to the point of the clip without clipping anything out of context. So
that was a good review. I mean, it's good feedback.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Patrick and Peter. Dude,
it's such beautiful art.
Yeah,
like
very nice.
Everything that he's mentioned was just nitpicky stuff that doesn't really matter in a large impact kind of a way.
Well, right. You gotta keep in mind, like, if those are the only things that he could pick out, that means that the art in his mind was very good.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
there's no major
he
problems.
did not criticize anything else about it. So
there's not even any moderate problems. These are all like tiny little things that are, I wouldn't say subjective, but can be debated.
Out of all the critique, the only thing that I would suggest would be like, okay, maybe add a couple dots here and there, and maybe a little bit of line work to kind of give the illusion of the string if that's not supposed to be a focus, but just kind of like the light is sort of kind of glistening sort of in different spots, because it's not, like he was saying in that video, it's not like fishing line, it's not something that's just a constant, what they made their bowstrings out of was, like hide or something. It was something, but it wouldn't be something that would be smooth. It'd be something that would be rigid and bumpy, and the light would hit it in different ways. So
yeah, the line, I agree with that. The line does need to appear to some
just a
degree.
little bit. Put a little bit of white dots, little white lines there and there to sort of simulate, okay, this is where the line, or this is where the string would go.
See, Ryan Wilberforce corrects you. He says dots are different Indian.
Yeah, it's what we call dot heads.
He's talking about the bowstrings, Wilberforce. But thank you.
Just put like a little red dot right here.
Yeah,
You're good to go. Get some spices while you're there.
Then we'll know he's Indian.
yeah. That's definitely a good target practice. Never mind.
Apparently, all the spices were over there in the East.
Yes.
Because we never hear about Native American spices.
Over here they found peyote, not opium. So it's like, okay, different.
They were more into smoking stuff rather than seasoning.
Oh, that tobacco.
Yeah.
Well, the marijuana, of course.
Oh, they
And,
probably did all kinds of crazy shit.
Salvia. I've had salvia. It's actually pretty damn good.
Is that found in nature, though?
Yeah, salvia is based off a plant.
Hmm.
And it's different. It's completely different than the effects you get from marijuana. Actually, it gave me like a jolt of energy. Like it felt like having like a 5-hour energy shot.
Well, that's good. Yeah, kind of get you motivated, get you up, get you moving, get you focused.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Like I took one puff of it and I was like, dude, I'm ready to like run a fucking 5K like right now. Like,
No,
Oh,
that's
there
when
you
you
go.
clean your house, honey. That's when you do it.
Reminds me of that movie, Something About Mary, with the old lady. At the end, she's like cleaning everything. She was,
oh
like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
coked out of her mind.
Oh,
Hey, it's. I've seen it. I had a friend that I've grown up with here in my hometown. She her daddy was a big Deadhead, and he's one of those guys that went to a lot of shows and Grateful Dead shows, blah blah, and they would do go travel a lot, festivals, and he was kind of into some of the weird, sketch drugs. But man, let me tell you something. When I would go over there with her with a case of beer and we play cards or something, that house was spick and spam all the fucking time. It was the cleanest shit ever. And I've told her so many times, I said, I need to get your dad over there and help me clean up a little bit, But yeah, so like I said, it gets some people motivated to clean. I say, why not? They're not hurting anybody. They're cleaning the world. So anyway.
it's well said. I need a little bit of that to clean my room. Did you have another clip, Carbon? You said you had a couple of things queued up.
Yeah, well, in terms of the usual kind of things I cover, which often get controversial, but
Oh, is this a carbon dating segment?
I don't have a carbon dating segment tonight, but I do have a comedy clip.
Oh, that might be a good thing to end on.
Yeah, there's a comedy. I gotta admit, this dude, he's about to become really popular. Like he's right now on the cusp of becoming huge. Let me just share it first before I don't want to spoil it.
Pull up.
Yeah, 1 second. So this is just a tiny segment that's gone viral on Twitter. But he has a bunch of stuff.
Wouldn't want to be Somalian right now. That's it's all the Democrats in the states are like, oh, it's just horrific watching my Somali neighbors being ripped from their homes. I'm like, if you have Somali neighbors, you live in a bad area. But I feel bad for the Somalis because they're being called garbage and they're trying to defend themselves online and they don't have anything to work with. They have like one picture and one video of Mogadishu. The picture is like from a rooftop of a building, and it's like 2 blocks from the beach, and you can see the beach, and they post it and they go, "Look at Somalia, it's beautiful." And it's like, yeah, how about you turn that camera around? I want to see a guy shitting in the street with an AK-47 strapped to his back.
But anyway,
Sounds
this
good.
guy's he's getting really popular because he's saying stuff like this, like blunt, like telling it like it is, you know?
Oh yeah,
Basically-
comedy's back.
Yeah, dude, like it really is. Like everything he says is like what we say on Commandos, pretty much. you know what I mean? Like that's
Oh,
why
sure.
I found him like a couple of days ago, and I'm like, I watched a couple of specials of his. It's like blunt. He's blunt as hell, dude.
Yeah.
DM
Ben
me
Bank
his
is-
name.
Ben
DM me
Bank
his name.
Actually, let me find just one more.
What's his name? Is it Nick Shirley, the guy, the young 23-year-old who's like uncovering all this Somalian scam with the
Yeah, that's another dude. But he's like more of a kind of like a streamer. You know, he's not a comedian. He just
No, of course he's a YouTuber, but I mean he kind of blew up this Somalian topic that everyone got everyone talking about it, is what I mean.
yeah.
You got
This
another
is a
one
good
here?
little bit. This is
Yeah.
a good little.
Oh, same guy, yeah.
Trying to make this louder. Okay, there you go.
I'd be okay with late term abortion if you could know that the baby was going to be trans in the womb. Just at the last minute, the doctor's like, this baby's going to cause you a lot of problems. Like, oh my God, is it Down syndrome? Is it autism? I'm like, pretty close. I'm afraid to tell you this, Mr. Bankus, but it's a trans liberal.
It's got a septum ring in the womb.
What are my options? Well, you can keep them. And then when they're about 18 or 19, they'll self-abort. Or shoot up a school. We don't know yet, but one of those two things. If you're lucky, they'll work at a Starbucks.
So true.
Or you can abort right now. I'm like, I guess make her uterus look like the Gaza Strip. See chunks of rubble falling out. Tufts of blue hair. Just a single nose ring. Just
I called it.
fuck, we dodged a bullet.
That's some funny shit.
Yeah.
He has a lot of good stuff. I gotta tell you.
There's a good couple of comedians that are coming up. I've seen a few on Twitter lately. It's good. It's refreshing to see. Like all of that was dead silent for a couple of years. It's
Oh
scary.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
well,
I mean, a couple of years ago, you'd be killed if you said that shit on
I
stage.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yo-
Katie.
I was gonna say the whole like trends at Starbucks is so true because I go to Starbucks almost every day when I go to work. I like to get my tall French vanilla latte. And honestly, the ones I go to all like to several locations depending on where I'm at or how much time I have before work. But there's always a couple of like trans people, and I shit you not. So I go to the one that's closest to my house. And I go up through there and I get what I want. They pretty much figured me out. And so I get to the window and it was like $6.96 for it. And I gave them a $10 bill. I got $1.05 back from the tranny. And it didn't hit me quite like it for a split second, but then I was like, I was late for work. So all I knew was I needed to go. But on my ride to work, I was like, that fucking trans son of a bitch fucking stole my money. He's supposed to give me $3 and something back. $2 something. He gave me like $1. So he took I was like, you little shit. You took some of that money and kept it. Like, fuck you.
Well, I don't know what it is about Starbucks and like coffee shops, but for some reason they're like a safe haven, right?
Oh, they are. And I
Yeah,
came through the next morning, Carbon. I came through there the next morning. I was like, you know what? Because I thought about calling. I was like, nah, I ain't going to do that. I said, but I'll talk to them in person. So I went back to the drive-thru the next morning, got my coffee, all that, got my exact change. And I told the girl, I said, by the way, that thing that's back there with the long hair, I guess with I don't know if those boobs are real or not or whatnot, but that one there stole a little bit of some of my change yesterday. And I explained to her just like I told you guys, and she's like, "Oh, that's really that's really not appropriate. I'm so sorry that happened to us." I said, "Well, I'm just saying, like, makes I think you should probably give them a heads up. Hey, I'm watching you next time, and you better be beware of it because I didn't tip her, and she took the money, and well, whatever that is, took my money. I really did say that, and I just drove off.
Yikes!
Oh man.
Well, I was irritated. I was like, I know it's no big deal, but still, you stole it from me. Either you're a fucking retard and can't give me
I'd be fucking pissed, even if it's $1.
You guys just don't understand. It's math is racist, okay? First, you got to get that,
Well, if it was like back in the old days when you had to kind of figure it yourself out, like it was in high school when I was working at Burger King in like high school, But like you got the computer that automatically tells you like how much change you give back. Like let's be real here. So I'm not gonna say you're retarded for your math ability. I'm saying that you're a thief. You stole money from me because I guess I gave off the impression that I don't know. I went through there one time and just I don't know.
I have a theory. I have a theory as to why the coffee shop in particular, like Starbucks, is the safe haven for these kind of people, like the trans and LGBT, weirdos, is because it's a very quick transaction, right? So you think about it, it's like, you order the coffee quickly, right? And then they bring it out. It's very fast. It's like, grab the coffee, done, right? You don't have much time to interact with them. As opposed to like other kinds of transactions take a little longer where you're like, oh, let me get the whatever. But even the burger takes more time, with the fries and stuff and chicken.
It's not as much work as flipping burgers. It's like coffee's a little bit easier. It's not a high skilled job. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have to know how coffee works.
I mean, how do they make those leaves?
But the order is fast. The order is pretty much the fastest thing you can order in terms of customer service. And so they're safe by that standard. And here's the other kicker, though. If you do piss them off, they have a hot cup of coffee they could throw on you. They have a weapon right in their hands.
I only get
they know that they're safe.
They could spit in your coffee.
Here's the thing, though, Carbon. I tell you what, when I pull up the drive-thru and I look through there, and I can see them all through there. Like I guarantee you, there's probably 6 or 7 of them working, and 3 of them are obviously, trans, like
dangerous motherfuckers, all holding scalding hot coffee. Look, I'll stab a motherfucker if they think of throwing some coffee on me, bro. I got my knife ready.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Somebody won a lawsuit.
I got one more clip before we end the night.
Sounds good, man. Somebody won a lawsuit against McDonald's for getting burned with coffee that was coffee temperatured.
Oh yeah, no, actually, it is dangerous though. Hot coffee.
It's not as dangerous as hot cheese.
Oh yeah, that stays on your skin.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Hot cheese.
Oh, dude, cheese can get hot.
Well, it's because the coffee hits your skin and it's gone. The cheese will stick there. And
But what are you ordering that has super hot cheese on it?
Oh,
though?
it's just at the house, on the stove.
Cheese sauce. You can order cheese sauce at restaurants.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
The
I mean,
one's
yeah,
the
no
one I'm
cheese.
working at has it.
Nachos and cheese.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, just the hot cheese. Some people like hot cheese with their burgers or whatever they get.
This past week in the news, something very big is going on. It's actually very exciting. Iran, or Iran, however you want to pronounce it, they're going through an actual
I think it's pronounced
revolution.
Persia.
Well, the
Are
funny
they?
thing is, they
It is.
might actually revert back to Persia. That's actually a
Well,
discussion.
the flag has been updated on Twitter today.
Yes, and this is in real time. Today, there were fires being lit in the street. This is actually probably one of the biggest revolutions happening in a country since, like, I don't know, like Egypt. That happened like almost 20 years ago. But yeah, like they're done with Islam in that country. They want to revert back to being a free nation of like Christianity and anything else, which is pretty huge.
So what are they doing exactly besides these huge? Because I think I've seen some videos on Twitter. So, like, has something happened in government here that's like? So what do you think they need to do to make the full change to succeed? Because we've seen these huge revolutions, these uprisings, but then you don't hear much about it after that.
Well, let me be literal. What's happening over the past few days is that the protests are they're not small protests. Like protests here are like a joke in the amount of people who protest.
Right.
These protests that have happened over there, like the streets were like literally like choked by the amount of people in the streets in Iran. They flooded the streets. They stormed the government building. They ripped down the flags, and then starting today, they actually started setting fire to all the government buildings. Like they're not kidding. Like they're not joking around now with this.
So who would need to step up in place to say, I am the voice of what politician, what person stands up to that power and that responsibility if, say, the government is taken down, the buildings are burned, there might be street persecution, like prosecution, you know what I'm saying? Like, a little beating in the street, you know what I'm saying? Like, so who takes over that power? Like, who stands up for the people?
Look at you, Katie, being all like practical and
I know.
thinking this through.
You're
actually thinking this through. No, but what's happened? Yeah, so the Khomeini, the Ayatollah, the goal is to remove him literally from office and to potentially unalive him. I still need to be conscious of these words on YouTube, but the goal is to unalive the Ayatollah. Right, so
which is the representative of the government, like the
literally the leader of the Islamic State.
What was that one guy? What was his name? It was back when like W was in office, and there was this Iranian president, and I forget his name. But yeah, I mean, I know there's the Ayatollah that is sort of the figurehead as far as like I guess. Religious, but you also had the president of Iran, which was like
the Shah of Iran.
What was
his
name?
Was
God, I can't recall. I'd have to look it up. I might.
Well, probably it's funny because prior to the Ayatollahs having an Islamic State there, Iran actually had a
Ahmadinejad.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that was a democratic system in which they adopted Western culture. I think this was prior to maybe 1985, around that year. But like everything, it fell victim to being taken over by a dominant state.
Yeah, because there's pictures of what it. I remember on Facebook several years ago seeing pictures of what it was like before the fall of, Iraq and Iran, like civilization, like people, looked normal, looked prosperous.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was Western culture essentially.
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
They were predominantly Shiite or whatever, and then like the Sunni like took over or something, and they were just
The
a lot
problem
more-
is that they're surrounded by all these other countries that still have the Sharia law and the
Mhm.
Islamic states. It's very challenging to adopt a modern culture when you're surrounded by that. And so it happened once again. But
Yeah.
right now, the takeover of Venezuela, I believe, is what is inspiring the world to take charge and end this shit. And I believe this might actually be a domino effect. I truly believe that Iran is going to be liberated, and there's going to be a domino effect throughout the Middle East. And
well, like Katie was saying, it just depends on who they put in charge as far as the public figurehead, because I mean, I think they're all puppets anyway. But who is going to be running this, behind the curtains? That's what's, more important, but we probably would never know.
Well, it will take time, obviously it's not like as if you can snap your fingers and magically everything's wonderful. It will take time, but at the very least, if it switches to a state in which it's not an Islamic dictatorship, that will be a good step, obviously, in the right direction. But anyway, this video clip I pulled up, this went viral, and this is actually I fucking love this video because this was only recorded a few days ago, and all the women in Iran, they're no longer wearing, the traditional coverings,
hijabs,
burqas, whatever. And so this went viral of this girl. Yeah, I'll just play the video. Like, this is fucking rad.
از اون ور
Smoking, I think, is also prohibited for women.
Oh, she isn't even coughing, so she's been smoking for a while.
Yeah, she's had to hide it.
Yeah.
With a middle finger.
Yeah, this
She's
is
like,
like
fuck you.
And she's fucking cute too, on top of it.
And it
She
might
is
not
cute.
might not look like much, but this is like very.
I mean, she
could
blows
get
the
it-
carbon.
She could have
Cassie blows
gotten in real trouble for doing this.
A nice
Yo, listen, we got a lot of places to visit, Frederick. We're going to
Right.
Venezuela, and then we're going to Iran. All right.
Let me renew my passport, and we're off. Now this
It's gonna
is
be
real
a good
bravery.
year, man. It's gonna
Contrary
be a great...
to like the fake
از اون ور
contrary to the fake activists in Americas right now, this is actually really revolutionary. She could have gotten in a lot of trouble doing these things right before the I mean, right now it's dangerous to be doing these things. She's taking risk in signaling.
She could literally be killed for this.
Yeah,
That's not even an exaggeration.
Can I also, this kind of reminds me of some I talk about every blue moon, but the thing that like infuriates me, like especially with my older sibling, women have it so hard here in America. Oh, blah blah, men get paid more than women, this and this and this, the typical shit we hear from feminist and pieces of shit women. And it's like, if you think you got it so hard, like go to places like this where you're not even allowed to smoke a fucking cigarette if you want to as a woman, right? So it's like, so to see this is like, this is what us women need to be empowering, is women like this who are taking
the problem
a
is,
risk,
you're 100% right. And this is like, we've been saying this for a bit now. Like, people on our side have been like, if you want to complain about America, why don't you pay a visit to these countries? But the problem is, The left and the far left have become so demented in their minds that they're going, hey, let's welcome Islam into our country. Let's welcome these cultures, and you're being intolerant by rejecting them. And then we go, hold on, that culture wants to murder you. Like they want to murder LGBTQ. They want to enslave women. Like you're worried about your abortion rights. They will control all your rights. Like you won't be able to go out.
Yeah, you worry. Yeah, and you're worried about Trump to, taking your rights as a woman. Well, these people, you think Trump was a scary man? Well, how about you deal with something like that, But yeah, you're right, Carbon, and that's what's like for me to speak for other women, like to women. It's like these are like this moment here. Us women should be embracing that and praising it because she's not the only one that's had to like hide. Like a lot of these women had to really give up so much just to, like they really couldn't even be housewives. Think about it. Like the 19th, you know what I'm saying? Like they couldn't even have rights to do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
the best
I don't know, it
analogy I've
infuriates
heard.
me with it.
This is the best analogy I've heard about what's happening, and it's like there's a contradiction in terms of like what they consider to be benevolence or like liberalism. Imagine a traffic officer in the street, like a traffic cop, right? Going, okay, one side of the street, I'm going to let these people pass. That side that's passing is Islamic people. Oh, you can pass the intersection. Then the other side that's going to cross the intersection, LGBTQ and women's rights, right? Except that the traffic officer is letting them both pass at the same exact time, and they're going to crash into each other, right? There's no harmony between these two groups. It cannot exist.
No, and that's why it makes me so infuriating when I hear these crazy fucking women who say they represent us when they really don't. Just spew the stupidest shit. And when you see something like this, it's like, this is what you want? Like you want to be, it's just stupid. I'll go on a long tangent about it, but
Well, those are the type of people that don't know how to count back change.
No, that's true. Damn, Ryan, that is very true, motherfucker.
I mean, that was like one of the first things that before I got in the workforce that, my mother trained me on. She was like, this is how you count back change. Don't worry about the register. Don't worry about what the computer says. The computers go down, and you got to be able to still make the transaction. So
yeah, well, a trans idiot man that wants to be a woman couldn't figure that shit out. But
he needs to put the trans back in the transaction.
Right, seriously. But no, I agree, Carbon. It's just that's why it's so infuriating when people
look,
bitch and
civil war is coming. I believe it's inevitable at this point. And luckily the right, we believe in arming ourselves more so than the left. And I think we're tougher. We are tougher than
the ICE officer that was involved in the shootout with the car.
Oh, that was the biggest story.
36,000 death threats. He's moving on a military base to protect his family.
That dude needs to leave the country to survive. Like,
well, I mean, a military base will do it.
Yeah, but
because the sickos
talk about an absurd story.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know what the reality of it is.
Yeah, I've seen multiple.
She accelerated. Videos. She stepped on the gas.
Well, her girlfriend, her lesbian girlfriend, said, "Drive, baby, drive," while the dude was right in front of the truck. So the intention is clear.
Drive, baby, drive. And by the way, my dildo's in the first drawer. Make sure you save that when we escape our lesbian stronghold.
Yeah, she's already lost custody of 2 of her children. She had 1 child that she drove 5 hours to go in at an ICE police raid. It's not even a public protest. This is an ICE raid.
I mean, look, LGBT people. All right, we're at the end of the show, so I can be nitty gritty here. LGBT people fundamentally have deranged morals, right? Everything is corrupted and confused. That's why if you look back on the interview of the girlfriend who survived, not the one who was shot, but the girlfriend of the person who was shot, everything she said about the ICE officers, I quote, because I've been watching all of this. She goes, the ICE officers, they didn't know what they were doing. They were unorganized. They were confused. It was a mess. They were like children. They were impatient. Like every insult under the sun that she could think of, she applied to the ICE officers. Meanwhile, all her fucking girlfriend needed to do was turn the car off. That's all she needed to do. The ICE officer goes, step out of the vehicle. Don't turn the car off, put it in park, get out of the car. You'd still be alive.
3 times, yeah.
You'd still be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, I actually tonight for while I came on too was I finished a clip of when Ricada and Ethan were talking about it, because your boy Zach, has been very vocal, I should say, about this situation. So I did clip that part of the discussion. It's wild. It's crazy. That's all that he had to do. That's it. One little thing. Can't even do it.
The funny thing is, here's what a lot of people don't realize. There are many traffic stops that end up the exact same way because people don't listen. You know how many traffic stops end up with a cop going, step out of the vehicle, sir. Step out of the vehicle. And they keep having to repeat them, step out of the vehicle. They keep arguing. They don't do it. Then they move their car and they end up grazing the cop. If you graze the cop, they have the right to use force. I've seen actual police footage of the exact same thing happening. It's not out of the ordinary. You fuck around and you drive your car towards the cop, you're gonna get killed. And that's it. That's the end of the story. Now you have people across the country marching through multiple cities like this is the new BLM. You know what I mean? Like literally marching in the streets. ICE is killing people.
Money might be coming from the same spot as BLM as well.
Yeah. I'm so done with it. Like, I don't even, man, I can't even talk to a liberal anymore, man. Like, it's gotten so bad.
It's like a cult if you don't say the same words. And the thing is, on their side, as soon as you deviate slightly, it's even hard to stay in the left, because as soon as you deviate slightly from the talking points, they turn on themselves. They turn on their own.
Yeah, it's nuts. Actually, it is a cult. You're right about that. Yeah, it's just as dangerous as a cult, actually.
Yeah, the reasoning is turned off. It's all about belonging. And when you join, they love bomb you, right? Oh, we love you. They support your sexuality, this and that. Here's all our love. You're so welcome. We love you so much. It's the love bombing at first. Mm-hmm. Then you have to, align with all the ideologies, and then you have to go to extreme actions to defend that ideology. And
well, I mean, it's the same across the board, and it lends itself to sort of be seductive to humans, because everyone wants to be belonged to something. Everyone wants to be loved by someone or some people. They want to feel like their voice is heard, even though they have really nothing to say of note. Everyone wants to feel like, hey, if I'm accepted in this thing, then, this is where I feel love, and this is where I feel like I belong, or whatever. And it's false, because they're finding it under wrong pretenses, and they're saying, hey, you know what? I understand that, some of these things are incorrect, but I'm going to go ahead and go along with it because it provides, like you said, they just go into a group and they already have that set, like, hey, welcome. And that's any group. The people online watch things and they want to be heard and they want to feel like they belong to something greater than themselves. And it might be completely a wrong ideology. It might be a completely wrong paradigm, but they believe it so much that they don't care and they're willing to forego anything else to be a part of that. And then, like you said, if they believe the wrong thing or if they say the wrong thing, then they get turned on and then they get sour grapes, or they go in further and they say, okay, you know what? No, I will believe X, Y, and Z because I don't want to leave this group. I don't want to get cut out of whatever it was that I felt like I was in. And so, I mean, and is not just this group, but there's so many groups out there and everyone is just so focused on their different sects or their different groups that they either found on the internet or found in public or wherever. And they feel like, you know what, I want to be a part of this group, society, whatever it is, and just because they don't want to feel like they're stuck in their house, they're alone, they're isolated, and they have no people group. Their family maybe doesn't, maybe rejects them or doesn't agree with the things that they believe in or that they found, and everybody and everyone has the same sort of situation where not everyone is going to agree with everything that everyone says. There's nuance, there's different ways of seeing the same situation or thing. There's different information that people are either given or not given, and they make determinations and people make judgment calls. And yeah, you do need to make judgment calls, but people either judge prematurely and say, no, I'm going to, or like you said, people listen to others and say, you said a trigger word, you said something that I don't agree with, therefore I will never listen to you again. Or you said a trigger word or something that I do believe in, and therefore I will listen to you until you goof up or say something otherwise. So it's just like when somebody listens to a debate, they're not really listening to the debate. They're listening to the people or the person that they align with the most. And they try to say, okay, they try to live vicariously through them in the debate to see, are they making good points or bad points that are propagating their point of view?
Yeah. I mean, confirmation bias is kind of how most people operate. I mean, I do believe, let's be real now, the average IQ is close to retarded. I'm not even exaggerating.
It's getting lower every day. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and you need to really consider. I think not enough people really consider that, because, like, if you have a circle of friends who are like pretty educated, like college educated, have a master's, like you guys probably have at least like 110, 120 ish, right? Like we're all operating around that, like maybe 120 ish. And then you meet somebody who's like 80 IQ, and then you assume just because they're human, they're a human being. It's like, oh, they get me. I can level with this guy, but not really, because they're operating on like basic, like animalistic needs.
It's just like the movie Men in Black. You can reason with a person, you can't reason with a mob.
And IQ drops by the quantity of people. You're right.
Right. And it's just like the documentary Idiocracy, where that's kind of where we're going as a society. We're going to have President Camacho come out, later on, and he's going to, they're going to promote Gatorade as the new water, and, and all that. And they're already, that's where they got the idea for Crocs, and Crocs sold, gangbusters, because everybody's like,
I don't sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're fucked up. You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
I'm sorry, but that's, I think, one of the people that Katie ran into was making her coffee. So
that's a doctor in Idiocracy.
But it's a documentary, and it sort of goes hand in hand with that other movie, Wall-E, where you just have people just sort of sitting back on those chairs, being moved around, and they're just, they're always, their phone is basically what they're looking at the whole time, right? You don't take your eyes off. You don't interact with your family anymore. You don't even when you go out, like I've sat at a table where half the table is looking on their phones and the other half is like, okay, are we gonna have a discussion? Are we talking? Are we gonna communicate as we're breaking bread? So it's, unfortunate that yes, the amount of stuff to consume, there are positive and negatives to it, but I think a lot of the negatives are kind of creeping in and saying, you know what, we want to be entertained 24/7.
Yeah.
It's dopamine
No, I mean,
addiction.
it's kind of sad, but I think most intelligent people realize that it's almost inevitable that we're approaching that. I don't know, man. Like, there are people saying that, like, the people who can make it to Mars, like, once we get to the point where we have technology to colonize Mars, like, legitimately, like, that will be the new human race, and like everybody left behind is going to eat itself back on Earth. Like, we're going to just destroy each other. And
but eventually on Mars, it's going to go through the same structure, the same, the same timeline. They're going to end up.
Well, it'll take a while longer, though. Yeah. I got one more clip for you, Frederick, before we leave.
Well, we'll end with that clip because I gotta.
This is the positive one.
Early tomorrow, but
this
awesome.
This is not depressing. This is the positive one.
Love it.
And at the same time, there's a little bit of eye candy also.
Ooh.
So I came through with the eye candy for tonight.
Let's see it.
So this is a Latina lady who, this is in Cuba, right? So this is a Cuban lady in Cuba talking to the camera about current events. I'll translate for you. She's speaking Spanish, but I'll translate.
Soy cubana. Si usted piensa que aquí en Cuba le va a pasar lo mismo que a Venezuela.
She said, Trump, I'm Cuban. If you think the same thing is going to happen here in Cuba as it did in Venezuela,
Quiero decirte algo. Hágalo ya.
I want to tell you something. Do it already.
Y véngase hoy mismo para.
Hold on, let me back up.
Y véngase hoy mismo para hacerle las mejores comidas.
And do it right now so I can prepare a good meal for you.
Gracias por libertar a Venezuela.
She's got to tell Carmen what spices she's going to be using.
Thank you for liberating Venezuela.
Soy cubana.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so she's saying, go ahead and please liberate Cuba. And by the way, this chick is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, that's all I was thinking.
Yeah.
No, I don't like the ponytail.
The ponytail?
Wait, what was that, Katie?
I don't like the ponytail.
Well, we're going to bring her to Katie did, and Katie's going to give her a nice, perm or something.
Sorry, I judge by hair.
That's fine, Katie. You don't have to like her. She's for us, okay? You don't have to like the way she looks.
We can fix her, Katie.
Is that Jordash?
Gracias por libertar a Venezuela.
Yeah, that's right, girl. I'll fly there right now. I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back right now.
She is cute.
She's got those eyes, she's got tan skin and light eyes.
And she can cook.
It's a good look. It really is.
That's the way the man's heart. That's all I can say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this episode of the ComicsGate Commandos on my channel for the first time. And thank you all for being here tonight. And we're going to be kind of filling in for Patrick until he heals and gets better. So keep him in your prayers and stay tuned next week. Are we going to go on your channel next week?
Yes, we'll do it on my channel Saturday night. Back to Saturday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And so everybody obviously is welcome to join. And we'll talk about the current events, and we'll be even more controversial on my channel.
Love it. Oh, okay. Wow. That's a challenge.
Hey, Ryan, it was great meeting you, dude.
Yes, sir.
And I like your project, bro. Best of luck.
Yep.
And you're welcome back anytime, man.
Yeah, links are in the description. Back him on Indiegogo. Back Patrick's campaign as well. And we will see you next week on Carbon's channel. Thank you very much for being here, everybody.
He is not an agent of the CIA. He is a writer of comic books.